month of last month, actually. Just still waiting on this data here. It's a little bit delayed. 2.3% expected here for core PCE. Canadian GDP, meanwhile, just coming out here at 8:30 as well, 0.1% on the month-over-month number versus a 0.1% expected there. There it is, core PCE 0.1% versus 0.1% expected there. So exactly in line with expectations. PCE price index 0.1% versus 0.2% expected there. PCE price index on the year-over-year basis 2.1 versus 2.2. So more or less right where everything was expected to be. GDP again for this country 0.1% on a month-over-month basis to the upside. Exactly in line with expectations there against that 0.1% expectations. Coming up at 10 o'clock this morning, we'll get the final Michigan consumer sentiment as well. Remember, there's an inflation portion in that as well. We'll get a both 5-year and a 1-year expectation and forecast in that number. So stand by for 10 o'clock this morning as well, an important data point. Meanwhile, everything to the downside here once again. Not a huge move, but 0.3% if you missed it. Trump on Truth Social saying China has completely abandoned this agreement that they came up with just going back a couple of weeks ago over in Switzerland, and said basically, quote unquote, so much for being Mr. Nice Guy. And that sent the futures spiking to the downside there. That was the move for the Nasdaq. We are trying to rebound some of that anyways right now, but overall a negative start here coming on the back of what happened yesterday. If you missed it, just selling right out of the gate all the way through to the close, even into the after hours yesterday, just seeing Chinese stocks, basically the entire board, red at this point. They were more or less flat. The entire market coming into this morning was more or less flat. Everything down pretty sharply. I mean, XPeng 3%, Alibaba, better part of the same, NIO 1.6%. So red start here this morning on more fun Trump comments. If you missed it yesterday, I mean, these tariffs were gone, and then a few hours later, they were back again and reinstated as this investigation is going to commence. Adair is with me this morning. Sharif taking care of a family emergency, so good to have you. I mean, interesting start to the morning, but coming on the back of what happened yesterday, who knows what today could bring. And
it's interesting, too, because this is actually on our watch list. If you check out our Trader TV Live watch list, I had that Scott Bessent was making some comments about China. He said that the trade talks had stalled, and he doesn't actually think there'll be progress until we get Xi and Trump talking to each other. Then just right after we send the watch list and Donald Trump decides to chime in for himself. Yeah. So interesting stuff. The other thing he posted on Truth recently is that he and Elon Musk, that's right, the Tesla CEO and now former leader of Doge, they're going to be holding a press conference at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. And he ended that post with "See you at the White House." So could be an interesting one as well. I'll certainly be covering that. Yeah, meanwhile, Costco with earnings. Not a bad report for Costco, but it is downside here this morning. The initial move higher for Costco. Dell, another one that's reported forecast a bit of a problem here. This one leaking to the downside as well so far this morning. 1% so far. GPS, wait for it. The GAP. Sorry, right. I keep forgetting that ticker change. It's funny in trade ideas, it's still the actual logo is still the same. Anyway, that one under a lot of pressure this morning. 15% here, 14.25 anyways for Gap on a miss there as well. So earnings all over the place. Semiconductors to watch again today with these Chinese headlines. NVIDIA kind of back and forth so far. We'll see what happens, guys. Happy Friday.
Hey, Brenda. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Obi. Happy Friday, everybody watching today. Dara's in red, and you and I are like the Black Plague over here. We'll have to wait to see. Black on black. Black on black. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, no, excited to be here again one more time here today. The last of Obi, and then we'll, not the last of you, but for filling in for Neil. The last. Does he have, wait a minute, does he have Monday off?
Monday? Oh, yeah, no, I think, Monday as well. Yeah, I'll be here Monday.
What a guy. You know, the guy gets back Saturday, but he needs a couple of days to recoup, you know?
Monday and then Friday again. You guys will see me on Friday.
When you're an old man,
there you go.
That's what happens. You're. I guess you're in. I don't know. I'm on the wrong calendar. Okay. Yeah. So you know if you're in or not. All right. Welcome everybody. Yeah, it was a nice move down there for China on that little story that Brendan just mentioned there. 21,400, dropping down into 21,250. I mean, it's bad. It's not that bad. And then the PCE comes out as expected, if not a little bit lower. 2.1 versus 2.2. So that's creating some nice little action back here to the upside again for us. So I just was looking at Costco down 0.45, not great there. I wanted to look at the other name that, maybe we're going to get back to green, right? And we don't have to worry too much about sort of this declining name right now, Tesla. I have it written down today. Every single day it's been a long this week, and then today I have it written down as a short. And I hate to do that because I know there's a lot of bulls in our chat right there, but I'm not, we'll be out of this and switch up our mind right away if anything changes. But now that we're underneath 360, I do like the short there on Tesla. Are you an egg guy?
Yeah, I like eggs.
What would be your favorite way to have eggs prepared?
Sunny side up.
Sunny side up. Okay, that was really quick. All right, I like that one too. You know what actually I had the other day when it was, wife and I went out for Memorial Day breakfast? Poached.
Yeah.
Yeah, poached medium, so you get a little bit of still that, that dipping action there. And that was nice. Yeah, I thought that was. And then are you a rye bread guy, white?
Yeah, whole wheat. Whole wheat,
okay.
Rye's a little much. A little too.
Yeah, I know. I like it's a little harder. Like sometimes I prefer that. But yeah, you're right. For dipping, maybe white is. And then what about sausage or bacon or pea meal? Only because today we have, I think for the first time I've seen scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
Today, this morning.
They were okay. I put a little bit of ketchup on them.
I put some sriracha on those.
Oh boy.
What's your favorite way of having eggs, Randy? Is it, would be, that's so hilarious. I was just going to say, would it be in an omelet? I like the, just like a straight Western, like just a ham, green pepper, onion in an omelet. What do you have in your omelet? Greek?
Yeah, lots of cheese.
Yeah. Okay.
Lots and lots of habanero cheese and Gouda.
Okay.
And eggs and pea meal bacon.
Yes.
And
Oh my God, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I'm ready for second breakfast.
That's why I didn't mean to do this to everybody. But
Is everybody hungry now or what?
Yeah.
Well, because we got scrambled eggs and sausage there today. We don't, and I was like, I said to Sparky, I was like, this is like a brand new thing here, because normally it's just like a little side egg. You get a hard-boiled egg. You do it yourself. This felt like more of like a, I don't know,
a weekend breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. More of a.
Okay, everybody in the chat say they're hungry.
I know. What the hell have I done here? We never get pancakes, so I see someone put a pancake.
I'm a turkey bacon kind of guy. I like turkey bacon.
Talk to my friend Joseph.
Yeah.
You love turkey
now?
bacon? What do you have on your plate over there? Oh, just fruits right now.
Tastes so good.
This guy's already, the oranges are good. Yeah, we got the.
Banana.
I got banana from yesterday too. The fruit salad. But anyways, okay. So I'm looking a little bit red here today. I think. I don't think it's going to be tough to think about longs if we do have this Chinese sort of backdrop again. But we've had it here for a while, right? It's not like there's been any deals made or anything like that. It's disappointing to hear President Trump say that what that work, I guess, that Scott Bessent did has gone by the wayside, because there was some positive movement there in the last couple of weeks based off of potential Chinese agreement, really. Yeah. I think that's a big. Canada is still a big part of all this too. We're a huge trading partner for the United States. But so we'll wait to see. Tesla's going to be a big name that gets hit on all of this, I would think, anyways. All right. $2,120 for SharpLink Gaming. Of course, Pharma Bro Martin Shkreli mentioned this as a long idea based on yesterday, based on an X post noting that there was only slightly under 1 million tradable shares, period, for this name. We've already done 1.5 million shares. So if you went to bed last night a little nervous about where this stock may open up, well, congratulations, you're in the money now, another 37%. This all started when they were talking about Ethereum, and they raised 600 million or something like that, 425 million in a private placement, and then they mentioned we're just dropping that into Ethereum.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Up goes the boogie right there. So it's a nice move there for SBET. We'll see if that can hold. And then another play idea that I have here today, we have Michael Noss coming through as well. So he's going to have some ideas. Oh no, we have a bad wick here I need to clean up. But what about an NVIDIA? Well, what was going on last night? That's right at the close. We have that bad wick. But I like NVIDIA underneath 140. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to use my chart, so just hold on a second here. I'm going to call up eSignal here. That won't have that wick or as bad anyways. But there's 140. We lost it sort of in the middle of the day yesterday. We were defending it pretty early. I know Obi and I were talking about it. In fact, the sole name you traded yesterday, right?
Yep,
So,
I only traded.
but anyways, breaking back down through 140, not getting back up there pretty much all day. I mean, we tried. We got to 139.50, but you would think on a day when we had 350 million shares traded that potentially we would have, if it wanted to, get back there to the upside. There was definitely enough eyeballs on this name, and we didn't get going. So, I mean, you can even get a little more aggressive and go 139.50 right here on NVIDIA, but I'm definitely looking at a 140 fade on that name as well. Semi's not doing the greatest. We had my guy Marvell there yesterday come out, and it's down a little bit. It's not down too much, down 3%, but it's not going to be a great name here to look at today. Underperforming its expected move. So again, relatively flat. We saw that yesterday with NVIDIA, opened up 5 or 6%. Expected move was around 7, got hit pretty much the rest of the day. But then I hold out hope that maybe a Salesforce that we saw ripping up, I don't want to, maybe I should use not the word ripping, but nice move down there, obviously right off open, right? We got crushed. I mean, we were on earnings 276, didn't like them, got down to 258 and change. But look at the day that Salesforce had yesterday. Pretty much climbing the rest of the day, almost getting back to sort of where we were pre-earnings. So we'll see if Salesforce can battle back today as well. I'm hoping this is sort of the trajectory of Marvell. Marvell came out and just everything was relatively in line. We're going to go through all these names, of course, as the day goes on. So what, anything on your mind early here?
I mean, again, I am watching the market. Something that I did highlight yesterday was opening prices for the week. We sold off pretty aggressively yesterday, right? I'm just looking at TQs here. You can see the ES and the Nasdaq as well with that quadunk in the morning. So a little bit of a puke action coming in, some more, I guess, some continuation of the selling that we already saw yesterday. News comes out and then more punching of the bid. But right here, TQs, that low from Tuesday, that's the week low, currently sitting at 38.37. Right there, so I'm looking at that as well. 68.38. That's what I have here. So 68.38 right there is the low. Current pre-market low just about clipped it right there at 68.62 as well. So let's see if we can kind of sell off a little bit lower. Does the week go green to red? That's the question that I'm asking. And similar thing on the spider here. Same kind of story. You can see that the week low on the spider sits at 584.37. And yesterday we were looking at the week open as well, right? So the week open right here, if I can go to the first 9:30 candle, the opening price is 586.08. Right, so it's like 586. We can keep it clean. 586 right there. Pre-market already tested it. Yesterday tested the week open by 1 penny. So again, my main focus today is probably going to be MSCI because that rebalancing is happening at the end of the day today. So we're going to be watching some of those names as well. But yeah, a lot of earnings names on watch. Earnings day 2 for NVIDIA. But I think the markets are definitely in play, especially with this shake and bake coming into the market with Trump's statements this morning. So a lot to watch out for.
Yeah, just before we go over to Michael Noss, we want to say thank you, Craig, for the $10 here. Just want to say thank you for all the effort everyone puts in on the show. So we'll say awesome. Thank you so much for those kind words. You learn something every single day. Say, man, so do I. That's the one thing about this market is you're learning pretty much every single day. There's always something else, like that SBET move or whatever. Then here we go from Arsis. Thank you so much again with all these nice emojis here. 2 free fall Fridays in a row. Nah. Buy the BD. Normally it's buy the something dip. But what do you think that B stands for? Buy the bottom? Buy the Bitcoin dip? Yeah, maybe. Bitcoin down here, 106 right now for Bitcoin. Thank you for the early super chats, guys. We really do appreciate that. Yeah, we're locked and loaded. We've got our coffees. We're ready to go here.
Darwin knows what it is.
Oh, what did Darwin say? Yeah, BTFD. No, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that's
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're replacing the F with the B. So what is that?
I don't know. I don't know what you gotta let us know.
Buy the boombastic dip? I don't know. But okay. Without any further ado, we have Michael. Maybe he knows what it is. BTBD. Well, any ideas on the desk over there, guys?
No idea. But I can't hear Michael.
Beautiful.
Oh, there we go. Beautiful.
Beautiful dip. Oh. 1 second. Yeah, sorry.
This is why we.
You guys
this is why we keep you around.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
No. You're good. You're good. You're good. We can.
Okay.
Yeah. All good. Happy Friday. How are things?
Things are doing fantastic. I feel like I missed you guys.
It felt like a long week, even though it definitely was not.
Yes.
I saw your charts that you brought with you this morning, and I think this is a fantastic angle to take, especially at this point in time when we have all this uncertainty and possibly even more poured on the fire here this morning. You did, however, Mr. Noss, forget one crucial chart in this presentation that you're going to give here this morning, and that's Canada.
I think I added it late. So
you did? Okay, good.
End, but shout out to Canada.
I know, even the TSX is at all-time highs, and we're not there yet. But go ahead. Don't let me steal your thunder here.
Yeah, no, and this is just, again, this is a chart of the SPY. We're zoomed out here, and we're using line charts on this because I have a lot of charts, but don't worry, I'll go quickly through them because there's just a theme here. And, we're struggling here a little bit at all-time highs. It does look very bottomy. I don't want to, call it the bottom's in, but there's a lot of things that would have to happen, I think, to have us go back to the lows. But a lot of this happened, and all of this happened because tariffs and uncertainty around the world, and a lot of people I hear kind of keep saying that as uncertainty around the world. So Monday was closed here in the US, but everywhere else was open, so I decided to take some of the time to go around the world. So that's exactly what we're going to do in kind of a rapid fire fashion, just to see how the rest of the world's doing and showing that we're getting a little bit of lag here in the SPY. So even if the SPY makes it to new all-time highs, you're just kind of catching up to the rest of the world there. So first of all, this next chart I think is a good way to summarize everything. This is just the ACWX for those who don't know, the All Country World Index ex-US. So this is, you take the whole world, you pull out the US, and you're kind of averaging out all of their kind of headline ETFs, and you're seeing we are hitting new highs here. Now, the kind of lagging thing here is China. So we're not going to mention China today. You guys know that I own a bunch of China and all of that. So we're going to go to the places that probably you don't hear talked about too much on the media. So in my charts next, we have the TSX, but it's not here. So didn't make it in time. But just a shout out, Canada is here as well, hitting new all-time highs. I think a lot of that's going to be gold, that type of thing. But yes, Canada, new all-time highs. This chart right here is Japan, and we're hitting new all-time highs in Japan. There we go. I was kind of waiting for that, but I'm glad we got it. So new all-time highs in Canada, new all-time highs in Japan. Next one here is Germany. We're hitting new highs here as well in Germany, and then we're down. The next one is Italy. So again, shout out, if you guys are in any of these countries, make sure you're lighting up the chat because everyone's market is doing pretty well here. So next one here is Singapore. Not quite new all-time highs in Singapore, but a nice looking chart. And you can see they all are having and all had this kind of tariff dip. But what I'm trying to point out here is not only have they recovered that tariff dip, they've gone to make new highs. So at least the investors around the world and the investors in these companies are saying, not only do they think tariffs aren't going to play any sort of a factor, but may actually end up being better for these countries. I don't know how you kind of spin that, but that's kind of what we're seeing here. Next chart here is Spain. So Spain making new highs there with Italy as well. And we're seeing Sweden just breaking out. I don't know if I was trying to think of a Swedish company that I could invest in other than maybe an IKEA or something, but this chart looks very nice to me. So again, shout out Sweden, nice little breakout happening there. We have the UK with the next chart here. So the UK just broke out recently as well. Quite a big bump after they've kind of resolved the tariff news. So every one of these charts is kind of looking the same. It dipped when the initial kind of tariff tantrum happened and the whole world happened. And now they're well above those. So showing we're rotating into different countries out there. And then last but not least is EWN Netherlands is looking like it's breaking out here as well. So quick trip around the world, but it's just to show you that most of these countries have not only recovered these losses, but are making new highs after they've recovered these losses. It's actually the US that is now the lagging part of this. And just to kind of talk about how rare that is, if you, right, so that was a quick way to go back through those charts. Look how well the US has done over the last this chart starts in 2020, over the last 5 years, and then just go down to the next chart, which is the All Country World Index. That basically spent that 5 years doing almost nothing. So this is a new phenomenon. Generally speaking, it's kind of the U.S. is leading, especially because technology is leading, and the U.S. is, by far the leader in a lot of these big tech plays. And now we're starting to see a bit of rotation in the rest of the world. A couple ideas of why this could be happening. I think the biggest one is just looking for diversification and safety. If you are someone who thinks that these tariffs are going to be very bad or catastrophic for the U.S. themselves or any policy that is getting taken place, well, it would make sense that you would kind of spread your money out into different parts of the world. So I am going to be spending a lot of my weekend trying to look to see what we can actually invest in the U.S. markets with these other countries, because I can't think of a Netherlands-based company that I could invest in right now, but I'm sure there's some out there, and I'm going to try to spend my weekend finding them.
The interesting aspect, and I'm glad you mentioned that at the end there, the interesting aspect here is we're not necessarily saying, okay, everybody run out and buy all these ETFs that are already at all-time highs. If anyone had that idea going back a month ago or maybe even 2 months ago, congratulations, you've done very well on that. But is there a catch-up trade really with the U.S. now, seeing that, as you were saying, the U.S. that has lagged the rest of the world, for the past month or so? If you go back to 5 years, 10 years, even 15 years, it's been the complete opposite. So is there that catch-up trade somewhere?
I think so. And I think part of it's going to be, I speak to a lot of financial advisors and fund managers and all this, and they've been kind of getting beaten up a little bit for years, saying, why is, 5 or 10% of my money allocated outside of the U.S. when it's the U.S. that's making all these gains and new all-time highs, 20% back-to-back years and all of this. And now those financial advisors and fund managers get to call them and say, this is why, right? For the reason that the U.S. is not at all-time highs, the rest of these countries are. So what I wonder happens is that if there is some resolution to tariffs, it would make sense to, take the opposite trade on, where maybe you're selling some of these ETFs that you've done, like you said, over the last few months, very, very well in, and you're taking that money and you're reshoring it back into the U.S. and you're buying U.S. So I do wonder if there's kind of a catch-up trade that could potentially get played here. I think, like always, and we're probably going to be saying for the next few years, it's all going to depend on a tweet, right? If all of these tariffs kind of go away or get resolved, then I think you get that revision pretty quickly.
Yeah, well said. Here's just to reiterate that point. There's Canada. There's the chart of Canada, just to get that one in there at all-time highs, as Mr. Noss was saying. Michael Noss, have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for this. We'll chat Monday.
I'll talk to you Monday.
Thank you, Mr. Noss.
Yeah, I mean, we often get very, very focused, especially on this show, because our primary audience, obviously in the United States, all the volumes ticking off here. We're live while the U.S. markets are open. But we don't want to forget about some of those European markets. I mean, they're closed, 11:30, and there's quite imbalances on those markets as well. Obviously, with this trade talk going back and forth, we've talked about some of the ADRs, Roche, Adidas, I'm losing some of the thoughts on what some of the other ones are, but over there on the OTC market. So definitely thank you, Michael. It's not all about the U.S. markets, and obviously we focus very strongly on them, but good to point out, like Canada at all-time highs. We've seen, even with oil being down, still nice to see Canada doing really well. We talked about some of the banks that have hit really hard on Canada. Back to the upside, had great earnings reports. Bank of Montreal, Bank of Nova Scotia hitting, Royal Bank. And then the gold trade. The gold trade's been super hot, right? And so obviously here in Canada, we focus a lot on mining companies, junior miners, so it's been pretty good levels there. The U.S. dollar is still pretty strong against the Canadian dollar, so that's something also to look at there. But yeah, all of Europe doing real well. I don't know. Is there a catch-up trade? Yes, but to Michael's point, he's completely right. I mean, you listen to all these podcasts and things like that. There's been so much strength in the United States over the last decade and whatnot that there's been a lot of focus, money being managed here instead of elsewhere. But that's an interesting one. ACW, that all world.
Yeah, I didn't know
there.
about
So
that.
that's pretty cool to look at that ex the United States. So that's nice. But many of the names that we trade, of course, are going to be international. Many businesses acquiring revenues all across the world. And a strong U.S. dollar has its good signs and its bad signs, because you have to repatriate that money back through in the United States, right? And so sometimes a weaker dollar could be good for some tech companies as well. But yeah, thanks, Michael. Another little put at some different names to look at there and different indexes, right? We didn't talk too much about specific names, but we like trading indexes and ETFs on the show. So maybe another one to look at. You didn't want to talk about China, but FXI, probably the one that's moving the most today.
You know, again, on that Trump statement this morning, China's definitely going to be on watch. And speaking of ADRs, the first thing that comes to my mind, Sean, when he's like, no more Mr. Nice Guy or whatever, he's threatened to kind of delist ADRs, Chinese ADRs before as well. So like maybe that's going to be on watch today. See if they're selling off as well. See if there's some sort of uncertainty in those markets. But again, going back to what Mr. Noss was talking about, all these markets around the world are pushing all-time highs, and kind of makes me happy that I'm here with Real Trading, because if I wanted to trade Japan, I could trade Japan. If I wanted to trade China, I can trade China. If I wanted to trade Australia, I can trade Australia. Like that's the kind of market access that we have here at Real Trading. So absolutely beautiful that all around the world there's so much opportunity as well. Gotta love these markets, man. But we love the U.S. markets a little
tonight
much.
as well, so that should be exciting.
Huge.
I'm just going to clean up. There's a bunch of dark pools coming in now, which is fine. I'm not quoting them, but it reminded me to clean up this bottom wick right there. All right, it's 8:55. Without any further ado, let's go back over and start running through our watch list.
Going through a couple of analyst moves here, including this one. This is that's actually a weekly chart of Costco. How good does that look? Trying to get back to, speaking of all-time highs, trying to get back to all-time highs right there. So close. Morgan Stanley raising a price target on Costco, going to $12.25 from $11.50 post their report. Really hasn't done much on the weekly side of things, but holding above key levels here. I mean, there's Zscaler, there's Ulta Beauty, Best Buy, JP Morgan cutting the price target for Best Buy, Bath & Body Works, another one.
Yeah, Costco actually just cracked below the $1,000 level. It's not really going to be a day trade one, but one to watch out for. Of course, we did have a lot of retail earnings this week, so Bath & Body Works and Best Buy chiming in makes sense. I'll mention one that we didn't talk about as much, Zscaler. I don't know if that was mentioned here. Piper Sandler with a price target increase from Zscaler to $260 from $235. For the record, it's trading about $263 pre-market, so even that price target is below where it's currently trading. But basically, Piper Sandler saying that Zscaler, they liked their results for Q3. They just reported last night. And they said their new products will continue to gain traction. So good look here for ZS. Lots of these earnings names are going to be at watch, of course.
It's worth noting, I'm just hearing the 10-year back to the upside here to the tune of almost a full basis point. So 4.4 on the 10-year coming on the back of this, if anyone's just joining or missed us at 8:30. Core PCE price index month over month for April, exactly basically in line with expectations, 0.1 versus 0.2. On the positive side of things, PCE price index 0.1 versus 0.2, 2.1 on the overall headline number versus 2.2 expected. Again, coming up at 10 o'clock this morning, final reading on Michigan consumer sentiment for May, 5-year and 1-year inflation expectation, obviously tied to that as well. So stay tuned. At 10 o'clock, we'll bring you that as it comes. Meanwhile, if you haven't done so, make sure you jump down to the description of this video. Top link in the description will get you to the sign up page for the watch list. All you need is your email address, and we'll send it right to your inbox every single day as everything that's moving around on it in the morning. Marvell here. I mean, we'll go through a number of earnings reports. Marvell did have quite the move after the close yesterday. Initially was to the downside, but we recovered almost all of that. Still down 4% here this morning and leaking currently. There were a few analyst moves as well for MRVL. Pretty wild one here this morning, Adair.
Yeah, so we'll go over the numbers here. Basically, they reported adjusted earnings of 62 cents per share, narrowly beating estimates of 61 cents. For their Q1 sales, pretty similar here, 1.9 billion, just beating estimates of 1.88 billion. So they eked out an EPS and a sales beat. Revenue, though, apparently up by 63% year over year. This was a record quarter for them for revenue, and CEO Matt Murphy attributed that to strong data center related demand. Not super surprising here. Now their guide, their EPS guide their adjusted EPS guide for Q2 was in line. Their projected sales guide was also more or less in line in terms of where the midpoints of these were. So guidance kind of mixed, but nice report in general for Marvell.
Yeah, thank you, Dara, for that one. Yeah, look, I mean, it came in as basically all as expected, right? 62 versus 61, a slight beat on the revenue as well, 1.9 versus 1.88. And then the problem with the guide was 62 to 72 cents per share, in line with 66. So it's kind of like they're saying that there is a downside and then there is an upside. But that's not what the market wants to hear. So Marvell, unfortunately, gets hit here. And it's not the end of the world, I don't think. Like Brendan said, there was a more dramatic move immediately, which is kind of crazy. Like the algos, I mean, the numbers were good, but the algos still hit it down. So that lets me to believe, and you're going to see, I mean, look at all the names that are on there right there. Marvell, Dell, Gap, Costco, like, you know, many names are down off of earnings there yesterday. So it's just going to be, I think it's, you know, it has nothing to do with China this morning. This move happened much before that. Like record revenues, you know, sales are through the roof for them. But at the end of the day, the market is what it is. And right now, you're coming up, that 50 period, we said that we'd have to look at this more seriously. It was just, you know, I like the name. I thought that it was, you know, at a good little level there. We don't normally get into too many shares before earnings happen, and we bought it 2 days ago. Hoping that NVIDIA would give it a little bit of a bump. And, you know, we saw what NVIDIA did yesterday, kind of sold off most of the day. So we were just hovering around this 65 area, trying to see what that earnings report was coming through with. And it was not well received, obviously. So we're going to have to look to see about either cutting some. It's not a huge position, so I don't know if I'll cut some at 60, but definitely an area of concern right now, breaking below that 50 period moving average. So just not huge volume or anything in the pre-market. It's 500,000 shares, which is nice, but it's not doing too much. It's not having too much of an effect. So let's see if there's a early market imbalance that maybe swings this thing to the downside. And then we can look at 59 flat because we know that's the 50 period moving average. So at least there's some opportunities here to look at that. It bounced off of it today or yesterday off earnings. So I still like the name. I mean, I think we want to be long AI. And again, data centers is their big push. They were profitable. They're selling more units than they can get their hands on. So I like Marvell here, and you know, down 4%. I don't know if it's an add to anything yet. I mean, I have a lot of, you know, money into AI and all that kind of stuff, but just a way to get part of the game other than NVIDIA. I do like, though, I like AVGO. I really think that Broadcom, again, the Silicon, and I have this chart again. Problem. Look how good Broadcom's trading right now, right? In this area. You're back up to, that's right. Don't have the split adjusted. You're right back to these highs again, right? So it does look a lot like NVIDIA, where we had that bottom and then just a pretty epic run. But we're through, I think we're through earnings on Broadcom, aren't we? AVGO, they could be one of those late ones too. Yeah, 6 days. So we have 6 days, June 5th, where we're going to be getting some Broadcom earnings. So I think this is a play that's, you know, very interesting to look at right now. We got a good report from NVIDIA. They sort of faded out, you know, after that report. Marvell came out with a decent number as well, and they got hit to the downside. So look out for maybe, you know, some tops coming in this space there as well. And on any weakness, I do want to buy some Broadcom. So yeah, Marvell, not the greatest of days today. You know, I wish we would have hit that one out of the park there, but I don't think we did that bad. It's down 4%. We could make that up. We saw that yesterday with CRM. Let's see where the market takes it today.
Yeah, I like Marvell today for a few reasons, I'd say. When I looked at it last night, right off of the close, I was like, all right, well, shake and bake, kind of a strong flush, and then rips right back up. And then a little bit later in the evening, I'm like, all right, well, we kind of printed right back up to closing price, and we even got back to reference highs. But interestingly enough, this bid that came in just as aggressively as the sell, let's take a look at a higher time frame to see where this might lie. Because we can see that, yeah, I think right there, that downtrend break that Sean just spoke about, we're kind of pushing a little bit back up right there. But take a look at this trend that's been holding, Sean. Look at this, absolutely beautiful. Boom, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the earnings reaction, 5. So the question becomes, off of this aggressive selling and the market selling as well, of course we have to watch the chip sector today as well, but will this multi-week trend hold on Marvell today with the earnings volume? That's the question I'll be asking. We're kind of just consolidating and churning right on top of that trend support as of right now. 61.16 is trading on Marvell, so definitely one to watch out for. Let's see if buyers kind of hold this thing up as they have been for the past few weeks.
Let's go on to Dell, continuing its downside push here, 1.2%. Earnings, I mean, not terribly exciting. We'll get to that in a second. This came yesterday as well, late in the day. New DOE contract coming through for Dell to build a supercomputer for the U.S. Energy Department. So on top of the report after the close yesterday, which was actually not that bad.
And it's just funny that that DOE supercomputer headline with NVIDIA barely makes a blip in the stock. I remember Sean was talking about it, then we get this story, and you would not think Dell had a catalyst. So pretty interesting stuff. No, the earnings, as you mentioned, not super exciting, but worth talking about, of course. Earnings of $1.55 per share. They missed estimates of $1.69. Revenue, though, $23.38 billion. That's beating estimates of $23.14 billion. With Dell, I want to talk about the guide because it was really strong here for the coming quarter, I guess the current quarter, that be Q2. So they're guiding between $28.5 billion and $29.5 billion in revenue. Analysts were looking for about $25 billion. So they guided well above estimates. You can check out the rest of their guide in our watch list as well. But generally a pretty strong guide here. And also worth noting that apparently they have $14.4 billion in confirmed orders for AI systems in its backlog. So if all these orders come through, could be really nice for revenue for Dell.
Not typically a volatile stock or tradable even for the past couple of days anyways, guys. But nice move here so far this morning pre-market.
Boy. Dell Technology.
Yeah, no, we like, we sort of thought the writing might have been on the wall a little bit there because we did see that HPQ had a downside push as well. But again, we could celebrate the earnings call and then all of a sudden, no. It's like people are just changing their minds. So I'm a little bit offside on some of these earnings plays because this is what it looks like on a daily chart. You would say, all right, if we can break through 111 right there, then we do have a lot of downside pressure and a lot of areas to fill back in here into the 50-period moving average, back down to $95. So, I mean, regardless of whatever these earnings were, the market liked them. Then they didn't, then they kind of did, and this morning they don't again, right? And so if you see what HPQ did was just, what was it, 2 days ago or 3 days ago? Their earnings call happened. Okay, well, they're not doing too much volume as well, but there they go to the downside, and then we come in the next morning, down again, and then up almost immediately into lunch hour, and then sort of leveled off near the end of the day. So is that what we can maybe expect here from Dell? Obviously, they're two different companies. I don't think one needs to trade alike, but there's that similar move. Here's the move down. So could we get a recovery day here for Dell? I think yes. So I actually should have added this to my sticky note. It's not a name that I'm familiar with day trading. You don't see me trade this too often, but this little level right here of 111 and 110-ish is right where we're looking at right now. This could hold. And, we saw that move there yesterday in HPQ, battle back. We saw the battle back in CRM. And again, when you're talking about best of breed companies, traders will come in and buy these. So even though they missed, it is a possibility here that we do support this area of 110, 111. So let's just see if that's what wants to happen today. I'm short bias, but the market is at VWAP, so maybe the long can kick out, right? There's that taco trade again. It's all, every day we're getting trade and tariff news, and we all, point the gun at the market, and the market reacts to news when it first hits, but then it's like, okay, well, hey, whatever. That whole, and I don't want to, I hate that always chickens out stuff, but, at the end of the day, you're trying to make a deal. Dell right here is at a great level. And I think this is one to watch today in and around 111, possibly a long at 111. Wait to see what happens around 110. A key level. You mentioned, a big Friday for, end of day trades, possible options expirations, end of the 6 months, right? We're June now, right? So half year. Maybe 110 has play here for Dell.
Yeah, I mean, Dell, I'm watching today, a bit of a shake and bake there, kind of a similar chart to Marvell, but you can see that Marvell kind of held its supports on the trend a little bit better. So a little washy on that one, but yeah, a strong push through that 120 off the earnings reaction. We try to break through this prior high and maybe even this one as well. Can't really make it through. You can see that strong aggressive selling that came in November of 2024, still kind of holding, holding a little bit of precedence there, some supply maybe there that was shown back there, kind of coming in over and over again in this 120 to 125 area. Let's see if there's more of the same coming in off of the open there. Maybe we break this, even though I did mention this not as clean of a trend, but if we're going to wipe up and then wipe it all back on the earnings reaction, I think the sentiment might be relatively clear. Let's see if we can take out these recent lows here at 108. So that's what I'll be watching for. Maybe a heavy VWAP will definitely help. Heavy market for sure. Got to be watching for the sector as well. Again, if they're going to be doing things for the AI sector. So definitely want to watch out for, but I want to throw on an anchor just to give it a little bit more confluence. That's already sitting all the way up at 117.82. So any sort of pull-ups or bids into this area, I'll definitely be watching it. No idea what it's going to do, but maybe a flush off of the open. Those 108s are looking interesting. If those sellers step in again right off open like they did off the earnings reaction and also off of this 120 to 124 area over the past year or so, could be an opportunity to watch out for.
All right, downside move right across the board for China. Pick one. They're all looking a bit like that. That's just FXI heading back towards session lows right now. If you missed it, I mean, a lot has happened in, let's be honest, 24 hours here. We had tariffs that were taken off by a court in the U.S. yesterday about this time. And then we talked later in the day about them being reinstated temporarily as they further investigate that situation. And then if you missed it this morning, Donald Trump comes out and says to China that they've basically completely disregarded this agreement that they came up with a few weeks back over in Switzerland, it was. And he's not going to be Mr. Nice Guy. You have the, Adara has the truth post up there on her screen.
I do have the truth post up here. This is going to be the first of two truth posts we're going to look at during this rundown. I'm not going to spoil it, but keep an eye on Tesla, this next story here. But basically what happens is we get an interview with Scott Bessent yesterday evening on Fox News, and he basically says that China and U.S. trade talks have more or less stalled. He doesn't think there's going to be any improvement unless and until Xi and Trump get to speaking with one another. We also had Jameson Greer, much like Donald Trump here, saying that China hasn't been compliant with the trade agreements. Now, it's worth noting neither of them and no one in the Trump administration, to my knowledge, has specified what they mean by these violations of the agreement or this noncompliance. But either way, Trump wants us to know he's done being Mr. Nice Guy. We'll have to see what that entails as far as the market goes, guys.
For this hour. Anyways, we'll see what happens next hour in this ongoing story. But yeah, I mean, everything, guys, downside here, pick one. They're all negative.
All right,
what's a flip-flop happening?
Alibaba, I choose you. That would be the one for me here, because we've had some negative stories again. We saw Dell down. I mean, everything on the top that we just talked about, Marvell, Dell, all the tech space wants to go lower here. So Alibaba is a big Chinese name. It's one of the number one, probably by market cap, their tech name in the Chinese space. It's a huge look at a downside play off of 120. Right, and we talked about that yesterday. We looked at this 120 area. Unfortunately, 120 was there right off the open, and then it never came back. But right now, you're breaking through another level right here, right now, 115 to 116. So I think this has ways to go downside. I mean, this is not. I get the opinion that China, U.S. is not going to get settled. We may never get settled. There may have to be another agreement here that has nothing to do with tariffs, and we'll find out what that is, whether or not it's buying more U.S. equipment, Boeing. We talked about some things like that could come through there. We know that they're supposed to play nice with Tesla and things like that, but that's part of the reason why we're looking short on Tesla, first of all. We're going to talk about that in a minute, although Tesla's strength we have written down there. So we look at 120, we miss it. So now I'm looking at this level here of 115 to 116. So then I open up the daily. This is the daily. And then I open up the 1 minute chart, and we're already breaking through it. So to me, this VWAP could mean something today. 115.50. Let's see if we can get back above these pre-market levels. If we can do that, fantastic. That would be a good area for me to start the short. The 200 periods at 116. So it's all lining up. It all lines up with the chart here. I like the short in Alibaba. Here's a 5-minute chart. So we could see something that I like right into there, 116.50, this bottom. So yeah, it's lining up. I think you short in and around 115.50. Wait to see about that 116.50. Don't get too excited about this, because what I've been writing down today is patience. So this market could bounce back up. It's that taco trade again, right? Will traders come in and buy, hoping that there's some positivity? I just don't think there's anything coming from China today, and there's more work to be done, that is for sure. Like Scott Bessent saying, it's now up to Trump and President Xi to figure this out. Yeah. That's a problem. You know, because if your trade team can't get something done, I don't know if you want to go right to the top. Especially we've seen the way that Trump conducts sort of these deals. I don't know if China, and he already said no more Mr. Nice Guy. Yeah. So I don't know if China going to play nice.
Well, yeah.
You know, so let's just take it back to like some old school backyard basketball rules here, where we ain't calling no fouls now, man. People are going to be elbowing each other in the face, getting those plays off. So yeah, for me, Alibaba's a short. I can't wrap my head around a long today. Heading into today's Friday, heading into the weekend, Obi, I just don't think there's going to be positive news hitting over the weekend. And hey, if there is, then we're wrong. But for a day trade today, let's keep our ears posted. We've got Benzinga in our ear, we've got Adara, we've got everything ready to go. If there's any news that changes the sort of the flow of today's market, then we'll have it for you live. But for me, it's a short until proven otherwise in these Chinese markets.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. I think that's pretty solid there. A lot of flip-flop, like I was saying before, a lot of flip-flop happening in this market, and yeah, things could change with it within the next hour. Things could be very different by the time we're in the closing session as well. But in terms of an opportunity for Chinese tickers here, I have PDD. They reported earlier on in the week on Tuesday a strong flush on that report. Pretty much been consolidating since then sideways within that day one earnings range. So right away, I'm going to be like, all right, what is that low from that day one? So the day one intraday low, we've already started trading below it. That was in and around $97 right here. But the earnings reaction low sitting at $94.01. So just about a couple dollars away from there. So that could definitely bring in some volume if we were to trade effectively below that $94 level, which is the earnings reaction low. So again, if China stays weak, if we get some market tailwind, got to keep an eye on FXI, Hang Seng as well, and maybe other tickers in the sector that PDD is in as well. But that 94 is going to be interesting if we do get that continuation coming in off of the open. So when it comes to China, I think PDD, because they've had recent earnings, could be a good opportunity to kind of look for the offside for short-term participants.
All right, Tesla's strength back in play? Not yet, anyways, but 1% here downside so far. There's a number of analysts coming out talking about not only the robotaxi launch coming up in June, but also just this move that we've had off the lows in this stock in general. A big event, obviously, with things getting underway in June in Austin for the robotaxi. This analyst suggesting Uber should not be worried yet, anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's interesting too because we know that Elon Musk has said that they have no interest in buying Uber. So that was a conversation as well yesterday on the show. But I want to talk a little bit away from robotaxis and more about an event that's happening today at 1:30 p.m. as announced here in this Truth Social post. Donald Trump's holding a press conference with Elon Musk at the Oval Office. Now, why this could be in watch for Tesla, beyond the fact that, of course, stocks can be really volatile, is the fact that Elon Musk's involvement with Doge has been a bit of a concern for some Tesla investors. There's the idea that he's spending less time with the company. But now Donald Trump saying that this will be Elon's last day, quote, but not really, because he will always be with us helping all the way. So unclear if that means Elon's still going to be working for the White House in some capacity, but either way, sounds like it'll be potentially a good look for Tesla investors who are looking for him to refocus on the company.
I mean, his time ran out. Like he did. He ran out of his 130 days. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm sure they'll talk from time to time, but I don't see it being that bad. Uber here is, speaking of Uber, downside again this morning. Big red candle yesterday for that one as well.
All right, what do you want to talk about first?
Yeah, we can do the Tesla.
Okay, go ahead with Tesla. I can look at Uber. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean Tesla again. It is kind of consolidating a little bit higher. Sure, we got some aggressive selling there yesterday. 168.33s are these highs right here. Kind of consolidation highs after that gap up. A little bit of a gap up that we got coming into the week. Again, Tuesday, first trading day of the week was pretty solid. Look at that beautiful trend all the way up. On Tesla coming in all the way to 364s. Coming in today, though, we're trading kind of well below that, kind of in the lower part of that range. Let's see if we reclaim some of that range, some of these range lows coming at 356s. We're currently trading below that. So I have no idea. What I'm seeing is if we can hold below prior day low, which also happens to be the Wednesday's low, so two consecutive prior day lows, if we can hold below that and trade below pre-market lows, the question becomes, do we hold VWAP? Can we look for any sort of opportunities to look for that continuation from the false break of that trend high that we saw yesterday? So if we do reclaim within the trend, I think that all of this range is well within play. But if we hold that 356 as a bit of resistance, then that could give us a little bit of direction as well. So that's my look on Tesla, Sean.
Yeah, no, so for me today, I wrote down Tesla too, but I'm going to be, I mean, similarly good levels there, talking 358 to, I wrote down 358 to 360 as a short for Tesla. Now that we've been long all week, now we're underneath. So for me, it's pretty simple, looking to get underneath here. If we can, trade in this area. Again, I don't think the news is overly positive today. So I'm going to try to short anything between basically 358 to 360. And just to try to see, like, let's let the market open up. If we get some levels in this area, then I want to go short and basically just tempt it to break that 360. And if we do, then we can get out. I'm fine losing on a shorted Tesla, especially if it's only going to be at most $2, because we want to be able to build the position up in this area and then whap. Yesterday, we were able to take the futures on a break of the pre-market level. That could be something here as well with Tesla, but it's starting to go back upside. The PCE was a decent number, so didn't really panic anybody at all. The market just having to settle out here in the next little while. Why did I selected NY there? Okay, so here's Uber. Look, I mean, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, as Adair mentioned. I still think they are. I don't think Tesla will buy them. I mean, they may go for a lift or something like that, or they don't have to. I don't even know why I brought that up. We were just talking about it yesterday, and Adair has confirmed that that's already been discussed, and it's been a no. But the fact that it's been discussed means, at least there's something there. All right, so Uber hit yesterday, obviously, and I think it was just maybe also a function of the robo-taxis rolling out all over the place, and it's not even the robo-taxis, it's that Model Y that was self-driving everywhere. I just think that, would you rather call up a robo-taxi, a brand new car, get in there, experience that, potentially cheaper than Uber because you're not paying the driver, and you just get, I don't know, will it be a better experience? Will people try out this robo-taxi service? And then how close are we to even rolling it out? How far are we away from this actually affecting Uber's bottom line? I still think that's years away. You got to get a lot of approvals before you're letting completely autonomous taxis roaming around. The full self-drive is a little bit of a different issue. That's been around for a while. We know that's going to be worked on. I think Uber could take advantage of that in many ways as well. We saw Hertz grab 100,000 Model Y or Model 3s and Ys. I think it was mainly Model 3s. They sold them back, but Uber could do something very, very similar, right? All Uber has to do is announce that they're putting their whole balance sheet into Ethereum, and this thing will go to $8,000, but I don't think that's going to happen right now. So $82 right now looks like a decent area, but again, just because of a little bit of negativity, I think you buy it there, but if it drops it, you let it go. So 82, definitely a spot here for me for Uber, and we're getting pretty close to hitting that. We were down to $83. So let's just see if there is a downside play, but it's starting to inch up. We only have 80,000 shares traded today. So for me, I like Uber for a long, but it needs to get to 82, and I don't know if that happens today. And I like Tesla for a short in those areas that we discussed.
Gap to the downside in a big way. I went out to a daily chart here just to show you. If you zoom in, you can see it better. But we're way down here, like 50%, easily 50% of the way back here on this daily chart move off the lows. This was a pretty impressive move off the lows, but 16% to the downside here this morning.
So we have to talk about the piece of guidance that is really, I think, concerning to investors. Basically, what happened here was they said that the tariffs that are happening specifically with China could impact their business by $100 million to $150 million. They've not included that in their guidance for the time being, but they also said they've already tried to mitigate some of these costs. They've mitigated about half the costs. Initially, they were expecting this to be a $250 to $300 million hit, but they still have the rest of these costs, and they said they likely are going to see this $100 million to $150 million hit on the balance sheet in the back half of the year, but they're trying to mitigate even further by diversifying their supply chain outside of China. Now let's talk about this quarter, because it actually wasn't that bad. 51 cents per share here versus 45 expected for earnings. Sales also a beat, $3.46 billion versus $3.42 billion expected. So to clarify, the report itself was actually pretty solid. It was just this guidance concerned with tariffs that they've already partially mitigated that seem to be scaring investors here.
All that being said, there is a ton of consolidation and a ton of key levels if you zoom out to a higher time frame, guys, at this point for GAP. What say you?
Fan message there. All right. Obi's rolling with some more buying power. Okay. Pardon me? Yeah. Please trade responsibly, Obi. I mean, my neck is on the line here, you know.
I may or may not.
Is it? Yeah. Please only add liquidity to receive the rebates. Okay, Obi? Okay. All right. So, all right. Yeah, look, Gap, not good. Gapping for sure. I mean, we're going to be talking about this today for sure. It's 9:24:30 right now, so 30 seconds, and we'll get some imbalances, and we'll be able to see from the Nasdaq what's going on. That has nothing to do with Gap, just bringing up to your attention that we could get a little bit of a move there. Barring the numbers as Adara just sort of reviewed there, or we reviewed there on the desk. You know, $22 is the 50-period moving average. I don't know if it's a surprise that we bounced off there or not, but again, I think 22 to 22.50, like now that you're beat up so much, like what was working for Gap obviously still is working, but there's the unknown, right? When you're producing your goods overseas and you got to repatriate them back in, and there's going to be some kind of a tariff levied on these, yeah, that's going to affect your products. And I mean, you know, my wife, for example, yesterday went to Old Navy, spent a little bit of money there. That's a Gap thing. She's not going to care if it's $5 extra per pair of jeans or for a golf shirt or something like that. But you know, many will. The analysts will, when you look at it as a clump and a big lump sum of profits. We saw Target to the downside, Walmart, Costco getting hit as well. This all just needs to settle out. And I mean, right now for Gap, they're not the #1 operator or anything in the space, but clothing is very, very difficult. It's very, very trendy. And you can see that, you know, it's had a huge move from 17 up to 29, almost a double, giving some back right now. This little level here with the 50-period moving average, I like that at 22.50-ish. So yeah, if we can get down $1, even into 23, sorry, could be a decent buy area as well for GPS. Again, what's been bad? It's exceeded its expected move there last night. So yeah, I would think the short can continue, but with a short, actually, you know what? This name used to be a pretty big short float name. Let me just see if that has changed now because of that most recent move up. So let's go to Gap right here and see what that short float is. Yeah, so it's still 12%. So there still is some short opportunities there for sure. But this is what I mean. See, the PE is only 11 to 12 right now. So it's not like, you know, and that might even be before this move down. So it might even be more you know, attractive than where we are now. So I like Gap down here. You know, I think it still continues to work. They still are, you know, a bargain brand, basically. It's not like they're high-end retail or anything like that. So, you know, the lower-end consumer can still, you know, purchase most of their goods. And I like GPS down, or Gap down here. And especially the fact that we got that $22 support. So, yeah, Gap's on my mind today for sure, looking at that for a trade. But, again, very, very interested in how these TQs and how the market settles out here in just a couple minutes, Obi. All right, what are your thoughts on Gap, and then we'll look at the imbalances.
Yeah, that was an aggressive bid here from these lows in April. If you take a look at this range that we've been making since about 2024 on Gap, a bit of a range low at 18s, range highs at 28s. Every time it kind of gets up to those highs, a little bit of supply kind of coming in every time. I guess mid to high 20s there on Gap. I forget that they changed their ticker as well, but beautiful reversion that came in, but all off of the earnings reaction. Let's see if we get a little bit of continuation there. That short float, 12%, could be nice. Probably has some shorts, I guess, a little relieved after a strong trend that pretty much just ground up for about 40 days here on Gap after breaking this strong flush right there. So you can see that buying kind of just grinding up all the way from, I guess, what is that, end of April there. So 40-day grind, giving back roughly 50% of that in about one morning session right there. Or, morning session they reported, yeah. So, no, after hours session. So a little bit. In the morning session, let's see if we can get that continuation. Do we sell off a little bit more? I have no idea. But again, throwing up that anchored on this chart, you can see that we're pretty much kind of just consolidating in and around here. That's sitting at 23.67s, pre-market highs at 24.29s. We're coming into that reaction low as well at 22.65, that earnings reaction low. So a lot of levels to kind of watch out for. Let's see, I think if we keep it simple, look for a range break of these after hours and pre-market session levels. That could definitely give it a little bit of direction. I think the anchored view up is one to watch out for as well, because it is gapping down.
Yeah, 1 minute till open right now. We have SMR. What's up to oh shoot, who was it? Jay Lee or someone in the chat was talking about SMR a little bit there today. So that is a downside play as well. Watch out for 30. This is roughly where I sold some of my shares on SMR. We didn't get anything higher than that because we do want to hold a little bit. There's Alibaba with a small sell as well, not really affecting too much there. UiPath, QBTS, some of the quantum names are downside today, pretty good as well, down 4%. But look at that bump up right there for QBTS. That's nice, right? With only 30 seconds now until the bell. All right, I did see NVIDIA on here, which is why I had it up, but I guess it got paired off. NVIDIA was a sell. All right, and then it got paired, and then you see the move right now on NVIDIA, a little bit of a move higher. Let's get our charts ready to go right now. Is Tesla doing anything off the open? So just a quick little fade idea of what we're doing. Looking to fade out Tesla if it gets to these levels. The countdown is now on. Tesla short. Brought to you by Upexi right there. Scan that QR code. Thank you to Upexi for the opening bell. 2 and 1. All right, thank you, Adara. We are now open. Welcome to Friday again. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe, as Obi and I will be doing our best to go over many names here today in the market, and we're excited, that is for sure. So here we go, Tesla. Wow, what an instant move to the high side right now is the market going, not doing much, but Tesla going right upside right now, so watch out for this. I'm going to put an offer right where I said I would. Let's start it at 358 flat, right? Just a small little offer, like a half a unit or so. If we can get something into there, fine. Then we're going to look for that 360. So let's let that sort of settle down. But look at that. A nice move, Obi. This is why we're looking at this.
Oh, boy.
357.50 down immediately $2 off of that level. Here goes the Nasdaq. Are we getting ready to break? We could do a similar move to what we did yesterday, where the TQQs come screaming in here. They're not doing anything right now, but if they can come in and take out some of these levels, then maybe the short is on. There's VWAP right there at 69.70. What about this break right here, 69.50 for the TQs? Here we go. We're starting to break lower now. Watch out for VWAP, the 200 periods right there at 720. We do have the Chicago PMI coming today as well, so we're going to watch out for that. But right now, little choppy here off the open, especially in the Nasdaq. We'll wait to see if there's anything cooking there. NVIDIA on our minds is wow, okay. Here we go for NVIDIA. I was waiting at 139.50. We did not get that short, but looks like the market is a taco trade today as we go downside and now straight up for some of these names. So far, so good here if you're long and you bought some of those dips early.
Yeah, this Marvell coming in. We talk about that multi-week trend support. That support definitely getting cracked right there with orders hitting the bid. 60 incoming right here, about 500 lots on 60. Let's see if that gets taken out. I kind of hesitated, Sean. I was watching it in the 50s and 60s, 60 50s and 60 60s, and I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe this is cracking, and then slam, flushes right down to 60. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to get some in here and give it some room to see if it'll work. Sellers are definitely coming in right off of the open. Let's see if we get that continuation. If we don't, that's perfectly fine as well. A lot of volatility, again, in the first few minutes of the open market. TQ's back at 70s. I see that. That's nice right there. Elf Beauty, wow. That's a beautiful move right there. Oh, yeah. Straight to the upside. Ulta Beauty as well, kind of both in a similar sector, ripping to the upside as of right now. We were looking at Gap as well. Gap kind of still holding its opening ranges, I guess, in the first minute as of right now. There goes 60. Oh boy.
Let's go.
Let's see if we can get a little bit lower there. I left 50 pennies on the table there from 60 50s. Can be a little bit quicker to react, but again, I was like, all right, well, I don't really see a lot of too much selling just yet. But guess what? Technically, the trade already broke down at 60.78 on that trend support. So let's see what we do in and around that $60 level. Do we hold? Do we consolidate? Do we trek a little bit lower here as we're breaking multi-week lows? Boom. See, this is what I mean, Sean.
Yes, sir.
Slapping down into the bid about 40 pennies, trading in the 90s, now trading 60s on the bid, 50s on the bid. Oh boy, you guys don't even see MRVL. Let me pull that up here so you guys can take a look at the book. Oh boy, can we get to 59s? I have no idea, but we'll see if these sellers continue in this opening session as of right now. So pretty solid.
I didn't want to steal your thunder, but we're $1 in the money.
Boom.
We're $1 in the money on NVIDIA. Let's go, baby. This is that level that we put on there. We didn't want to steal Obi's thunder. We didn't want to do that. But here it comes to the downside right now. 138.60s. There it is, man. Join the club, Joseph Wilson. Right there. There's $1 clean on our friend NVIDIA. And again, posted up here. This is what we wanted, man. This is exactly what we wrote down. 140 short sell. As we took it. There it goes. It's a nice move down now. Therefore, NVDA. We also talked about maybe shorting the futures as well, as that's heading upside and downside right now. So there it goes. Breaking the VWAP is the futures, but there's a clean dollar right now on NVIDIA. So we're pretty happy with that trade. And I'm still in 80% of this. So actually, that's a little bit too much. Let me get out some more here. Let me bid some 62s there and get some out. So there it goes, man. It's a nice short there for NVDA. You're on Marvell, so I'm obviously not going to look there. Tesla, still waiting for our 358. I don't know about that one. I mean, we're already short here with NVIDIA. We don't need to go too crazy with that. What is our Uber doing right now as well? The other names that we had on watch, Palantir and the market, basically. All right, so there's Uber. It does kick out 85 almost, now back down to 84. So we're going to have to watch out for Uber right now coming back in. There goes NVIDIA now through that $1 level. So we're starting to print even more now on NVIDIA as it's going lower. And then the other one, we want to check out some SMR. What's going on with some of the nuclear names going nuclear a little bit nicely back to the upside. QBTS and some, wow, okay, now we're really starting to go. Look at QBTS, $16. But oh boy, Obi, we are now $1.30 in the money right now. We are now going to get some more out at 138.06 right now and ring the registers right there. Look, this trade, I mean, this is what it looks like right there. Huge trade off the open, boom, boom, pow. As we get to the downside, shout out to
what a snipe.
Whoever sings that song, boom, boom, pow.
Oh.
Get that boom, boom,
yeah,
pow.
Black Eyed Peas.
Boom, boom, pow. Yeah, good one there. Yeah. Sorry about my singing.
I just want to point out, that's a beautiful snipe right there. You literally have the top right there on
but you know, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for that. We like that, man. A lot of love over here, guys.
Nice quick scope on that NVIDIA 140 right there. Boom, boom. 360 no scope right there. Actually 139.50 no scope.
You young kids are trying to pretend like I don't even know what that means. But there it is. Yeah, no.
360 no scope is like, you know, when you're playing on the computer. So you don't even look. You just spin around 360 and you take the shot without looking, and then you actually get it. So 360 no scope.
Hey man,
without the scope, without using the scope.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Like, you know,
oh, is that what no scope means?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was just wondering, Travolta's like, the Travolta one's not working, by the way. Yeah, we talked about that before. I like the Travolta one anyways. But there it is. What about, you know, it was $1.
Yeah.
You know, but then if it keeps going down,
that's another
you can get another $1. So there it is right there.
Now we're in a
$2 winner rate here, Obi. And how's your Marvell doing? We're having a great time.
It's holding below 60s. It's holding below 60s. What better day to go to the club than Friday?
Yes.
Friday's a club kind of day.
I have to announce happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
To my wife. It is her birthday today. 25 years young. Shout out to you, Marissa. Looking more beautiful than ever, of course. So shout out to her as we get ready to rock and roll.
So you guys going clubbing tonight?
Yes.
Sick.
Yeah, all 3 kids.
Oh. No, I thought...
We're going out for a nice... there's this nice Italian joint that my wife really wants to check out. Apparently they have this amazing ravioli that she's been waiting to hit up for a while. So we're really excited about that. We got the rezos going. Hopefully this trade can help pay for at least a bottle of wine here. And we'll have a good time tonight. So I just want to say that shout out May 30th never meant more to me than the day I met her. So it's been a great journey. And yeah, happy birthday, Marisa. A lot of love in our family for her, that is for sure. And thank you for all the continued support on that one. But yeah, clubbing maybe not. But definitely some excitement tonight, that is for sure. Yes.
For now, we're just going to go dollar clubbing.
Yeah, we're going $2 clubbing, man.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, so it's been so
club
good.
Hopping.
So far, so good.
You've heard of bar hopping before?
I've heard of bar hopping, yeah. I used to do that in my day, you know. That was one of the better
every now and then. I think it's fun. Yeah, every now and then.
I go again, man. I want to go again. Like,
I like this thing.
I'm still waiting for Neil to organize the Trader TV Live meetup.
Oh yeah, so that'll be sick. Like a conference, like a TTV conference.
That'd
be cool.
We've been talking about it. We'll hit him up when he gets back here. He's the guy that's never been to Vegas before, so he wants to do something. But I'm talking about something even
Neil's
smaller.
Never been to Vegas?
No, he's never been to Vegas.
No, actually, there's no way. There's no way. I got to talk to him about this one.
You know,
no, I'm saying
my integrity over here.
No. I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised.
Yeah. No, I know. He's never been. No, he's talked. The reason I bring it out, he's talked about it many times on the show. It's not not to throw shade at him or anything. It's just no Vegas for him yet. So maybe we got to get there. But I was more talking about just a chill out vibe here. In Toronto, we all have it like a little meet and greet, go to a bar, have Neil pay for all the drinks and stuff like that. It's gonna be like a lot of fun, right? So
hit up,
we'll do that.
Rooftop bars.
Remember when it was a $2 winner?
Oh boy.
Let's add two. Let's
hop to the next.
Let's add the word quarter to the end of that one. 2 1/4.
2 1/4. Oh, I thought we were going to the third one.
But let's just keep on going, man. I mean, I don't want to just. That was fun. I mean, we're gonna have fun on the show, talking about trading, talking about some of our when you go expeditions. I don't know, whatever. Neil's in Budapest. I hope you're having a great time, my guy. He's coming back tomorrow. Then you're here with me on Monday again, and then we'll bring it all back to Trader TV Live. Talk now. So, all right. So you're still in Marvell. How's that working out for you?
Look at them hit the bid, dude. I'm just waiting here. I covered a decent chunk already because we're consolidating here. But the fact of the matter is that we did not rebid above that $60 mark, even though again. I gotta be a little bit more nimble, and I kind of went back and reviewed the past week or so. And if you guys remember, earlier on this week, I was like, I've been on a bit of a red streak, bit of a downward spiral for the past week or so, and it's been pretty stressful, I would say. So I kind of went back, kind of looked at some of the trading and being like, okay, well, some of the trades I'm taking actually make sense. Like, they're part of my playbook. So where am I really going wrong? And what I realized was I get tilted after missed opportunities.
Right, okay.
And then I start making irrational decisions after missed opportunities. So just want to reiterate to myself, I'm doing a little bit better today because that 60 halves was definitely a missed opportunity because I got all the way down at 60s and it's now almost $1 lower. But guess what? I was like, all right, that's fine. Missed that trade. Have to work on acceptance, right? We talked about this before as well. If you guys have been watching the show for, I think a couple of months ago, I talked about this. But acceptance is huge. There's going to be so many trades. You got to just have the mental to be like, all right, well, fine. I don't have the best price, but the trade is still on. Right. Can I still effectively risk for the trade that is still on? If yes, then still take it and take what she gives you. Don't ask for more. And if I see it consolidating a little bit there, that strong momentum right off of the open kind of stalls a little bit. I want to cover a decent chunk of that. Got the stop in as well, so I'm not even worried about it, Sean. I'm not even going to look at this one anymore. If it stops me out, it stops me out. VWAP sitting at 60.16, currently trading at 59.62 here on Marvell. What a marvelous open technical breakdown. You heard it here during the pre-market. Let's see what Adara's up to.
Just keep an eye here on BSLK. This is a small cap. It was actually in our watch list this morning. Bolt Projects Holdings. No, not really any news on this. It is a materials play, 20 million share float. I just want to let you guys know as well that we do have in just a couple minutes now the Chicago PMI coming in at 945. So stay tuned for that. Forecast here 45, previous print 44.6. I'll be delivering that for you in a couple minutes. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. Palantir going the other way right now. It's going upside right now. So nice move from 123 up to 125 and change right now for PLTR. So they had some new talks today, U.S. government and whatnot. They talked about Foundry applying that to DOD, new Department of Defense contract today for Palantir as well. And apparently, Trump tweeted this out, many on the forefront here for PLTR. But look where we got right up into. Like, if you're looking short on Palantir today, I was looking long, so we picked 120. So yes, there it is. You are now in the dollar club.
Listen, I know you got there a little early. Hopefully you ordered some drinks because I came to the club a little late today.
Yep.
But we're in the club now.
We like that. We like that call.
And I do want to point out, this is what I was talking about in the morning session. I was like, all right. I even posted this in my pod group here because I was like, I didn't see this before, but while doing a little bit of charting, and by charting I mean drawing a line on a chart. I was just like, oh boy, this is definitely something that I would like to watch out for because again, it's just about the offside. It's about seeing what has worked and then seeing it stop working, right? Because it's like, okay, support 1 time, support 2 times. This is a trend line. It's trending, whatever you use to define your trend. It's been holding that indicator once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 5 times on the earnings reaction, and then boom, just cracks that. We're coming into that earnings reaction low as of right now, right at that 59.08. What's the candle low right there specifically? I got 59.08. So we're trading on 59.08s right now here on Marvell. Absolutely solid. It's not a I guess super aggressive trend break just yet. But let's see if we can kind of step forward and break through that prior, I guess, earnings reaction low. And then we got some prior lows as well. So just looking at just some prior structures, if we can just stair step down during the day. Obviously, I don't expect it to get all the way down to 48s on the day today. But here we go, 58.80s now testing on Marvell. So where is the next stop, you may ask? 56.50s is that prior low from pre-market on Thursday of last week. Let's see if we can crack that. And a little bit of an intraday low that might be a little stronger, obviously, because of more volume traded in and around these prices. That's sitting all the way down at 54s, 53.78. Look at this quadunque that's coming in here, both on the Nasdaq and the ES. Beautiful tailwind for this short trade. Are you still in that?
We're $2.50 in the money. I mean, we're not even. I'm just letting you cook, my guy. Great trading there, Obi, obviously. And again, it's about having that confidence. Well, we talked about this trade an hour ago. So there it is. And you just mentioned about in your little pod group there. So chilling out right there.
You guys better be watching this.
Yeah, great trade. Obi, all right, so here we go. We have number right now, so let's go over to Adair and figure out what's being released.
Okay, we have the Chicago PMI just coming out here. Just came out 40.5, lower than the expected 45. So again, 40.5. Chicago PMI for the month of May, lower than the forecast of 45, also lower than the previous print of 44.6. Here is the Nasdaq. I'm going to pull this up for you guys. Continuing to push a little bit lower here for the QQQ. Again, we do have a much more closely watched economic number coming through at 10 a.m. That is the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment. That also does have an inflation aspect of that print. So at 10 a.m., you'll get the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment and the 1-year and 5-year inflation expectations. Back to you.
We're now $3 in the money. Like I don't even know what's going on right now. So we'll say shout out to everybody that joined the club today, the Sticky Note Club, because this was pretty hot fire, man. I mean, here it is right here, 139. We talked about 140 short. Obviously, I'm going to take the 139.50. So there it is right there. It's a good trade. It's now $3, and I'm just like over the moon right now with this trade. So whoa, it just came right back. Yep. So now it's only $2.60 in the money. Let me just put a bid there because we did miss that 50, Phil. I was waiting at 50. As it wasn't waiting there, actually. I put the bid there once it fell through. So I'm going to put it back there. Now 61s, we're bidding 61s, and there's the fill right there. So, all right, we are starting to go lower. I'm sure your Marvell is also working. Now we're short Tesla, though. Why did Tesla just rip right there? So we are now short Tesla at 358. Again, this is a little risky. I'm understanding that. Okay, well, is it that risky? Let's go. There's $1 right there again. We just took 25s. There's 75 cents clean. Let's do it again. There's another 75 cents. We're just taking it out on the same levels again right there for this. I mean, there it goes, man. I mean, this is just as quick as you like right there. You've been in this Marvell trade. It's a great trade, but it's 15 minutes. This right here is 30 seconds to move $1. Like, you have no idea how these names are going to move, man. I didn't even think that this Tesla would have just popped in right there. So we still could get hit up on this, but we'll wait to see. We just covered some. We covered about a third of it down there at 57. Like, that dollar just came in real quick, man. I'm going to cover another piece of this at 07. Bang, bang, bang. There's $1.50 right now. Happy birthday, Marisa. This is quite the day today. That is full show. But there goes Tesla now to the downside as well. So back-to-back jacks, baby. Now this is officially $3. We are now $4 in the money in total. We're starting to get ready to go. It's going to be a good day. We got that slap action going on right now. So it's going to be a good one, man. Your Marvell's working. We've got this going. It's been a big day thus far.
Thank you, Sean.
Right.
Solid trading there. Beautiful short on that NVIDIA. And look at that. Getting lucky with that strong flush right there. And we talk about the luck. Luck is just not luck, Sean. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And you were definitely prepared for that snipe, and that opportunity presented itself. And what a beautiful short that was if you had that one there. So good stuff there. Marvell is still kind of working. I covered a decent chunk right here, like I said. Covered some more there, 58 halves. And then on the reclaim of 59s, I covered majority of it right there. So pretty much holding a breadcrumb, not even concerned about this. Where is the next trade? That's what I'm asking. let's do some quick scans here. I'll just bring this this window in here, and we can do it together, so it's easier for me to kind of show and talk about it, show and tell about it. Show and talk right there. So Marvell right there, that's working out beautifully. So this is kind of my earnings basket that I had on watch today. So about 8 tickers roughly that I was watching. I'm like, all right, which one of these tickers is going to do what I'm looking for to get involved with? Marvell. Marvell, probably one of the strongest, I guess, ones in terms of the playbook that I like. And again, that's reversions, right? If a trend breaks, I like the reversion, and the trend's kind of breaking. So a bit of selling coming in right off the bat. Sure, we could continue. This could very well be a multi-day trade. We talked about that bid being multiple weeks as well. So how long is the selling going to be? I have no idea, but maybe on a similar or a higher time frame than the first 15 minutes of the opening of earnings day one. But Ulta Beauty, beautiful strength off of the open. Again, it was a little spready here, and again, I wasn't really looking at it as my top idea, but it came out to work very beautifully right there. So 469s to 491s, 492s as of right now, almost high a day. Dell Technologies right here. So you did get that test of that anchored VWAP. What a beautiful test here, Sean. So maybe missing out on that one there, a little bit of a short, and then you get that confluence with market tailwind coming in as well. So rejection of that anchored VWAP happening on Dell. How much relative volume is this doing? Got to check that out too. Okay, so 11 times off of the open, but we're starting to kind of get a little bit lower here. Volumes dropping off as well as the relative volume. So we've got to keep that one on watch as well. UiPath got absolutely smoked. American Eagle, strong reversion back. I was watching that for continuation there on American Eagle, but that one didn't really do what I was doing. Elf Beauty, not as strong on day two. And then I also had Burlington stores from yesterday's day one. So today being day two, you can see that it's doing absolutely nothing as of right now. So that's kind of what I'm watching here in terms of earnings names. Let me know in the chat if you guys are watching anything else. But in terms of other tickers that I have on watch as a non-earnings interest.
Oh boy.
I have here, sorry, Sean. I don't
keep going
a little bit, but okay. So Intel, we saw that news on Intel and a few other names this morning, being like, oh, okay, well, they're going to start expanding their memory sets to kind of cut down costs of AI, and we got that nice little shake in the morning, but we're getting that bake off of the open as we kind of trade a little bit lower, give all of that back. NVIDIA day two, what a beautiful break below. We saw Sean in the trade as well. False break of that pre-market high and the end of the day range consolidation. Absolutely beautiful. In retrospect, that short came in so nice.
You like that?
But real time, Sean had that top, so that was pretty solid there.
$3.50.
$3, yeah, it's still going, dude. Look at that. Earnings reaction low is 133.25. 3 points for NVIDIA is well within range. Sean, so
we're $5 in the money in total. We got almost $2 right now on Tesla. We actually do have $2 on Tesla right now, $1.80 in the money as we're trying to break through 350. And again, these are all written right here on the sticky note, the top two trades that I had written down today. And we're doing this every day. There's Tesla 358 to 360 short. We have 358 short. It's breaking 356 right now. We have NVIDIA short as well. The top two trades hitting right now for me and hitting real well. We're basically done for the day right now, to be honest with you. But there it goes. Oh my, Obi. There it goes, man. We are coming back into that level one more time. Yo, what's up, Max? Make sure that you guys do hydrate, though. You got to stay hydrated. Wow, Obi, what a move down right now for Tesla. Let me cover a little bit more here in the 60s. We might as well do that. And there's 350 right now for us on NVIDIA. But we do have to go ahead and really thank. Yep, okay, we'll wait for that. All right, so we're trading right now. All right, let's see what's going on with Palantir. Shout out to anybody that was short the market, man. We talked about hitting the TQs right there. I got a little, not sidetracked. I mean, I'm carrying two positions right now. Shorting the market, though, would have been a great call. We talked about that right there at 21,300. Were we going to break it? Yes, we are. And there's the downside. All we talked about all morning was short bias, short bias, short bias. I talked about not holding things over into the weekend. And then all this Chinese, basically back and forth banter between the United States and China just doesn't bode well for many of the companies that I look at. So yeah, we've been here before, and this is what happens with experience. You can talk about sniping and all that, and I appreciate the kind words, Obi, that is for sure. But when you mentioned preparation, I agree that luck, there's that equation there. What do you say? Preparation
meets opportunity.
Meets opportunity, right? But that's fine. There's lots of opportunity, and we prepare every day.
Yeah.
But the market.
How long have you been trading for?
24 years.
So that's a lot of prep.
Yeah, that's a lot of prep.
That's a lot of prep.
But that doesn't matter. It's because you know what, we talked about this too. You could take up trading right now, and then really just become disciplined, understand the tricks of your trade, right? I mean, sure, this does help, but you know, this tariff stuff is new. Like every day is a new experience, right? So Obi's been trading 5 years or so. There's a question there.
Three on the floor.
3 on the floor,
and then 2 at home.
So 3 plus 2? 3 plus 2?
2.5-ish at home. Yeah. No, but technically I started, like I think my first trade was in like early 2019.
Got it.
I think I started kind of dabbling into the markets, or maybe late 18 as well. But I've talked about this a couple of times. My first trade ever was going all in on weed names.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Before Canadian legalization, because in my mind, because I knew nothing about price action, nothing about charts, nothing about anything about trading, and then I was just like, I have an idea, and I'm gonna trade that idea. I'm gonna be like, yo, when we get legalized, these companies are gonna make so much money because everyone's gonna be buying from them, so they're gonna obviously they have to go up. Guess what I learned? I learned the age-old lesson of sell the news.
Yeah, I have a couple. Yeah, I did not learn that. I have a couple.
I bought the news.
Hi, Ramin. How are you doing?
What's up, Ramin? Totally ignored.
All right, this segment sponsored by UPXY. So we do want to say check them out on the Nasdaq, UPXY. It's UPXY, a publicly traded brand accelerator combining strong e-commerce fundamentals with a forward-looking blockchain strategy. In addition to operating a portfolio of consumer brands, UPXY is building one of the largest Solana treasuries in the public markets. Here we go, guys. Backed by institutional partner GSR, they offer equity investors exposure to Solana through a regulated security. Wow. Without the need to hold tokens directly. With both revenue and asset growth, UPXY presents a unique opportunity for long-term upside. To learn more, please make sure you scan that QR code on our screen or click the link in the description box. There's Solana. I mean, we talked about SPET going absolutely insane. Check out UPXY. There goes NVIDIA, another move down right now. $3.50 in the money on NVIDIA, $2.40 in the money on Tesla. So yeah, things are going well here for the short side. Wish we did have short the market, that is for sure, but I do not. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. Here's UPXY's, I'll call up their level 2 for us right now. So it's a $10 name right here. And it looks like, I just was looking at the chart, we gapped a little bit higher there, going into $10. So we're gonna wait to find out if we can hold this 885 level there. UPXY, make sure you do go check them out. Okay, so bye-bye to Tesla. Palantir, wow, what a great level that 125 seems to be, right? You're back into the 200 period moving average. If I was thinking long, then this would be a good area to do it, but I'm thinking lower than this, man. I mean, my net keeps growing here. I'm sure yours is as well as this market continues to fall down. I feel like we got to get short somewhere in this market, but it's been a decent move down, right? The Nasdaq, we came in today, it was hovering around zeros as we opened, and now we're down 0.7. So the market continues to make new lows here throughout the day. I mean, maybe not new lows, but we're getting close to that as we just touched that 5 minutes ago. So I just got to figure out what I did to Ramin, because I remember when she was on the board, you do not need to get on. Okay, she's smiling at me now. Okay, so now we're fine because we do not want to get on the bad side of anybody around here, Obi.
Yeah,
you know. But all right, so all good. Ramin is super nice, so we just play around with her. That's one of Sharif's rolling gigs, so I'm just kind of stealing that from him right there. Joe already excited about what's for lunch, but that's going to come just a little bit later. So yeah, not yet, Joe. Okay, calm down over there. All right, calm down. Go grab some more scrambled eggs, or everything will be fine. Oh, you didn't take any? Yeah. They weren't your type of egg. Okay, got you on that one. All right, SMR coming through there. Nice move down. We had that move up on SMR right here. Oh, they're switching right now. Andre or Fabian, just my screen, just quickly here. There it is. So $33. I always want to talk about the closing prices, right? If you're thinking one way and maybe it doesn't, go your way early, look for the closing price of the past day for some simple support and resistance levels. That's about as easy as it goes. I mean, that's how we found NVIDIA and Tesla today. So good trading happening right now across the board, especially if you're short. What's going on with your trade, Obi?
Yeah, so I got a little bit, so Marvell's working out great, a little long on NVIDIA here as it kind of, I guess, starts to slow down. I'm seeing the initial kind of slowing down of some selling here. Maybe, I have no idea. Let's see if we can get a bit of a wick. You can see that strong kind of pull up here on this 15-minute chart on the Nasdaq right here. A little bit of demand coming in off of that quadunk in the pre-market right here, and we're kind of coming into that at the same.
We have University of Michigan in 1 minute. Just
okay, University of Michigan in 1 minute. All right, so haven't really added to this position yet. But gonna be waiting for Michigan sentiment to see if this kind of continues on the day here. So we'll see what Dara will bring us with that Michigan sentiment.
Yeti has been a good stock, actually. We can look that up. I'm not sure how it is with the trade imbalance, but I'm going to get that. We do need a Yeti sponsorship. So anybody working with Yeti, you could just sort of send us a couple mugs, and we will talk more and more about that. I got to get Obi one of these things as well. Yes. All right, and coolers. Yeah, I got a wicked cooler for the wife there for Christmas. It's been awesome using it so far this year. All right, 10 seconds till the number, and it's happening now with Adara.
University of Michigan consumer sentiment, 51.5 is the forecast, 50.8 is the previous print. 2 seconds until we get this print. 52.2, so higher than expected University of Michigan consumer sentiment. Again, 52.2 is the actual print. Forecast here, 51.5. This print is also above the previous print of 50.8. This 5-year inflation lower than expected, 4.2% versus 4.6% expected and 4.6% previous. The University of Michigan 1-year inflation expectation, 6.6%. That's also below estimates of 7.1% and the previous print of 7.3%. So to recap, higher than expected University of Michigan sentiment print, and both the inflation prints were lower than their previous prints and their expected. So that means, I guess, we're seeing a little bit lower inflation going forward than initially we were expecting. Here is the Nasdaq continuing to make these lower highs, lower lows. Here, I want to talk about Tesla here as well, because TSLA is going to be on watch. We know they have their ongoing robotaxi excitement. They're trying to get all of that ready in the coming months. But TSLA also does have another potential catalyst. Elon Musk, CEO, set to have a press conference with U.S. President Donald Trump. That'll take place at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. I'll cover that for you guys, so that's certainly going to be on watch. Also on watch are a lot of these earnings plays. GAP actually beat on EPS and sales, but as you can see here, gapping sharply to the downside. They did say they're going to have to basically deal with $100 million to $150 million net impact, most likely later this year due to concerns about tariffs. So ULTA, Dell, other earnings plays here, lots to look at, guys. Back to you.
All right, we don't want to throw our whole morning away here by shorting the TQs, but we did just short them on that sort of a pop-up, but it looks like it's trying to extend itself through. 69.60 right here, that's going to be my out. 69.65, we're not in this very heavy, any stretch of the imagination. We talked about this yesterday. We don't want to execute into trades that are too far away from our outs, because we want to have tighter stops and not be like, too nervous, like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? Like, you got to have that plan of action. So we'll take a little bit more short here against those levels. And we're going to get out, like, just watch here go 69. What is that level right there? Because we're at the 50 period and at VWAP right now. So if we break higher, the momentum is definitely changing. We can use our 200 to get more short up here near 70, but I'm going to maybe change my mind if that happens. 69.65. So let's just do that. 66. Like, I'm not going to play around. If it breaks it, we'll mark it out of this. There's enough liquidity here on this that I don't need to specify a price. It'll market me out and we'll be okay. As I talk about that, we go almost back into the money on this trade. So far, so good. Holding this and averaging in at VWAP VWAP. But look, there it goes again, Obi. Be more patient. I'm talking to myself here, because if we just had to wait for this level to come through, we would have had it, and now we'd be that 13 cents in the money. But we're going to wait to see how far this can go down. We did cover a little bit more at Tesla. Well, first of all, we got a great cover at the 200 period. That was a good one. And then we covered some more at 36.50. What we have left on Tesla, we had that many shares. We have this many left. We have about 15% left on Tesla, and we almost have nothing left. We have under 10% left on NVIDIA. So we cleared out there at 136, man. I mean, we talked about 130. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched the market recap show or not yesterday, but we were talking about it, Darren and I said we're going to watch out for 136 tomorrow on NVIDIA, and like, that came in. So, you know, we'll Barry Horowitz, pat ourselves on the back for that, but we were short into it and covering a lot down near that level. So, all right, man, my biggest position right now is the TQQs, which of course is the Nasdaq, a triple levered ETF.
Oh boy.
Over there on the TQQ. So yeah, there's many other things going, man. We're going to look at quantum, SMR and all that, but for right now, we just got those numbers. Here comes the Nasdaq back into flat for me, looking to cover something in and around this area, 69.10.
Yeah, just watching this NVIDIA as I guess it attempts to curl here. We get that little bit of a bounce here. I was just telling Sean that strong selling in the pre-market that happened right here all the way down into 21,200s. Here on the Nasdaq, bit of a demand showing up there, and we bid right back up into some of this pre-market range. Guess what? That flush that comes in off of the open kind of sells off into there. We don't quite get to that low, and then buying kind of comes back in once again. More of the same of what we saw just in the pre-market right there. So I like the bit of a turn here on NVIDIA. So I did get involved in at 136.29. Trading 136.60s right now. VWAP all the way here, just shy of 137.5s. I have it at 137.53 on my other chart here. So I'm just gonna wait and watch and be patient. Let's see if we can get a bit of a reversion here happening. 136.60s. Can we print the 75? Can we hold that third quarter and then print the whole? That's what I'm asking right now, as of right now. So 70s coming in. So let's see, 75s. Boom, there we go. There's a clip of 75s on NVIDIA here. This is NVIDIA tape, but TQ book. So let me just change this up for you guys here so you guys can see what I'm talking about as well. Let's throw on a little bit of the size filter so we see anyone who may or may not show up right there. So right there, 72s on the ask. Let's see if we can get to 37s there. Again, just looking for a quick reversion to VWAP. That was a beautiful sell. So I'm sitting here being like, okay, we're selling off pretty aggressively. Where's the next trade? It might be the reversion. You know?
Yeah, we might get the reversion.
Might be the reversion. So I do want to piece off a little bit here as we struggle to get to that 137 right away. But again, being nimble, not taking too much off, but trying to do a little bit better at being a little nimble as price tries to slow down. Like I said, I have no idea what it's going to do next, but shorter time frame, I'm like, all right, this may or may not be a little higher probability of a direction. So let's see what happens here. Wow, look at that rip on the Nasdaq. Yeah, huge, boy, I should probably just trade the Nasdaq and the ES, man. What am I doing on NVIDIA?
Yeah, exactly.
But,
what the hell are you doing on
there's
NVIDIA?
some size on the ask, getting slapped right there. 137s, maybe potentially coming in. I'm just being patient. Let's see where the next trade is.
Yeah, great pickup down there on NVIDIA for sure. So that's a nice one there, Obi. Congrats on that and your Marvell trade. It's been a good day so far for sure. It looks like for both of us. And that's where you just can go to show you can take longs and shorts. You just got to be patient and wait for your levels. I was pie in my face again because we just talked about Palantir. And I was like, wow, you know, it's down here. If I was looking long, this might be a spot. And there it is, right there to the upside. So it's $1.50 in that reversal there for Palantir. Unfortunately, with that number coming out and the market bleeding sort of to the downside there, I was not confident enough to take that. So whatever, at least we talked about it. There goes Palantir. I hope some of you were able to grab some of that as we start to go upside right there on PLTR. We did get hit on our TQQ position, which is fine. We didn't have a whole bunch of shares on around that, but we did get stopped out right there as it broke through 66s, and that was our stop. You guys saw me put that in. I think we got a 68 fill, so the liquidity was okay, not the greatest there, but so we get slippage of 2 pennies as that makes its way up. I'm going to now use the 200 period here as a guide for me on the TQQs. So, you know, that's something where we're going to start to short $70 into that area. I'm still thinking short until we break through those sort of pre-market levels right into here. So we're going to wait and see if if the TQ want to do that, and if they do, then yeah, we'll be gone. What is that? BL? I saw some people in the chat. BLRX? No, BLRX. Was that what it was? Put that in the chat again if there's something else.
Ticker?
BLDX. I think it was BLD. I think it was BLDX. No. Okay. So people were talking about it. I'm going to go back and BLRX. Okay. Thank you. BLRX. Is that what I put the first time? Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. So this name moving around. People interested in this. So this is up nicely there today. Wow. Okay. That must have been a reverse split. No. Not a reverse split because it's only up double, but there it is, up 60% there. It did get as high as $10. A fade back in on this name, $5.55 right there, the bottom for BLRX. Not sure of the news, but did want to look at this for some of you. We always look at the VWAP fade whenever there's a gap like this. So this is looking strong. It looks like it can break this. I mean, you know, it's been weak today, but obviously a strong name though. Right into there, $6.55. So look for that. You know, maybe if you're long from down here and you maybe missed that, look to get something out, you know, around 650, that view up there, 675. If we break that, that's when I would start to initiate more of a long position on BLRX. So there we go there. And I do want to, before we go over to Adara asked me actually this morning about how much SBET shares would cost on the short. So shout out to everybody here at Real Trading and to Adara for asking about it, because look at this, man. That short was printing. Thing is that you had to withstand. I mean, we opened up here at 110. We go to 125. We halt right there at 105. And now SBET, Starlink Gaming, of course, you know, the minute you get Martin Shkreli and sort of the mainstream media on this is kind of when we may start to fade out a little bit. So nice. SBET right there down today, but still up 16%. So, you know, if you're caught long on this name somewhere up here, watch out now. You don't need this thing halting again. And that level looks to be about $84 to $85 coming into question. So looks like there's some more shares here on the level 2 today. 6s and 5s, a couple hundred shares everywhere. There's a 7 right there on the ARCA book at 92. So, you know, each one of those is 100 shares. So there seems to be more liquidity today than the past days. So watch out for those long squeezes on SBET. So Starlink Gaming. Let's go over to Adara.
Just want to talk here quickly about BLRX because I know it was mentioned what was the story here. Well, there is a story here. Basically, they announced a new pilot phase data here from their phase 2 combination trial of one of their treatments for first-line pancreatic cancer. It's going to be presented at this ASCO 2025 annual meeting. A lot of other biotech-related names are expected to be here as well. You can find all about that actually on X at TTV Research, because I do have a list with some of the major companies that are set to attend in the biotech space. Now, other info on BLRX, 856 relative volume right now is pretty significant. 5% short float. And Sean, I looked into the reverse split. The most recent one that I can see they did was January 30th, 2025. That was a 1-for-40 reverse split. This is an Israeli company, so it's also ADRs. Back to you.
Picking up a toy. Okay, so here we go. Thank you, Adara. How's the coffee there, Randy?
Ooh.
Sponsored by Tim Hortons now. Oh, thanks, Randy. I know. All right, so shout out to Randy coming back in here. That's an extra large? Mm-hmm. Wow. Burning the midnight oil these days, huh?
Pringles can of coffee.
Yeah, it's literally a Pringles can.
Nice, nice one there.
What do you prefer, Tim's coffee or McDonald's coffee? Tim's?
I'm a McDonald's kind of guy.
Yeah, there's something about that McDonald's coffee, man. I don't know what they put in there. It tastes good. It's really good.
I think it's just different beans, right? So shout out to MCD. McDonald's chart is actually pretty hot fire there. Check out this name, Randy. This SBET was $3 back on May 27th. It got as high as $113. You could have bought a lot of coffee there, as your portfolio would have gone up like 5,000% in 3 days, and now we're falling back down just a little bit. And then we had a great short there on Tesla today, early right there, 358. We got out 355.50. It's starting to come back upside. Actually, we could have just reshorted it. What am I even doing? I'm distracted over here. But there it is right there. A nice little move on Tesla, right back up to those highs. A name that I've been liking for a minute has been Amazon as well. This name, I love Amazon. one. Oh man, we got a bad wick there. Yeah, I'll call it up a little bit later for you all. Pony right now, riding that pony today. Pony AI, everything AI bouncing around. Look at Pony today.
What a genuine move.
I know what you did there. That's a good one there. Shout out to Genuine as well. Ride it, that pony. Get on your horse. Yeah, get on your horse right there. Get on the Bronco, the Ford Bronco.
Yeah.
Randy.
No, he's like absolutely
no love for Ford. All right, well, hey man, I mean.
See, I told him to get a G-Wagon
instead. R. So does this name.
I was like, run the G-Wagon instead. Yeah.
Run the G-Wagon instead of the Ford Bronco.
How much is a Bronco versus the G-Wagon
today?
Yes. No, the thing, I mean.
Brabus.
Probably maybe double or triple the price of G-Wagon than a Bronco.
Okay.
There you go. At least. So, yeah, Obi, I would choose a G-Wagon as well, man. So, yeah, if we can, if Mercedes is watching, you know, Randy and I, Obi, we could do some test drives.
Yeah, of course.
Of said G-Wagons or anything
Give us
like
the
that.
G-Wagon
We
for
could
a
put
year.
out some YouTube shorts for about the G-Wagons. He's got the jorts on right
He's
now.
half ready already, guys.
Man, we're just a marketing machine around here, guys. All right, so thank you so much, Randy, for stopping by. And Randy, if you'd like to get me a coffee, that would be great, but otherwise you do not have to, obviously. All right, man, new position alert for me again. We said it's another time.
Another one.
We have 3 positions.
Another one.
You know, this was a level that we should have waited for in the first place, right? I mean, we had talked about $70 there. It's coming back up. Great screamer there. Great job up by Obi there, grabbing. We don't have, so Tesla's going against me. I definitely understand that, but I'm not even flinching on it because I have, what did I tell you guys, less than 5% of those shares left. But there it is right there, $70 right now coming into play. That's that line. Look at the 50-period moving average. Could we trade above it? Yes. My stop on this trade is going to be, actually, I didn't even put a stop. I was going to go to 70.50. I was going to try to test the fact that these futures are not going to get back up to this level. So I'm going to wait for 70.50, man. I have another order waiting at 70.25, 70.20 to get more short, but we're short back in the short game right now on the TQQs. Well, now that Tesla's where we are right here, now I have to take a short now because now we're right in the middle of that level again. So let's go, man. Let's put something on. We'll punch in right there. We punch in aggressively. We get 88s right there on that fill. So now we're short this game right now, right here, right now on Tesla. A little bit of a reload. So let's wait to see. Hopefully it can work out for us. We'll see. If it breaks 360 as noted on the note, then we are out. This thing breaks 360, man, we are gone. So just if you guys are watching this trade with me, that's going to be my plan of action. There's the reload, Obi, and boom. There it is. So let's wait to see. We're not quite in the money yet. We were when it was down in the 50s. Let's put something in the 30s and see if we can get some love there for this name. So far, so good here on the day for that reload there of Tesla. But, you know, still to be determined. Out, honestly, aggressively at 360. Here it comes, Obi. So let me manage that and pass it back to you.
Yes, sir. I have a question for you guys. Have you ever entered an order to buy or sell and the price you got filled at is completely different from what you expected? That might be called slippage. Slippage happens when you're trading on an older, underpowered computer and it costs traders a bundle. So that's why our friends at Easy Trading Computers created the complete guide to trading computers. This guide shows you exactly what technology you need to succeed as a trader and to avoid slippage. Go ahead and scan that QR code or click the link in the description box to get a free copy of this guide.
All right. Thanks, Obi, for that read. But I'm not loving life right now on Tesla. I mean, great long there. I see you're out of Marvell, obviously.
Yeah, stopped out.
But there we go. We are now stopped out, and we'll slap a face slapper there. Slap ourselves, actually. Oh, that's NVIDIA. My bad. There's Tesla. We just got a piece out of NVIDIA as well. There goes Tesla breaking through 360. So the question is now, so now we're flat on Tesla, unfortunately. Oh, geez, man. What is going on with Palantir, everybody? Palantir, Adara, I don't know if there's news. Maybe not.
There was news
but
this
look at, yeah, I know. But look at Palantir right now. $2 in 1 minute. Nice move upside.
What?
Oh, boy, Obi. I haven't heard too many oh boys this week. But there it is. No news, says Adara. Nice move up there for Palantir. Let's go, man. man. The number one holding in my long-term portfolio now, I actually looked at it, it's Palantir. I don't think that's wise, but whatever. It's upside right now, up 70% this year is Palantir right now. We're halfway through. Can we get to up 140% is the question. Can we have quite the move there in Palantir? Here come the TQs. Let's put a bid out there at 85 for the Nasdaq. And it looks like Tesla does reject a little bit up there at 360. Let's give her a go one more time at this level just to see. Let's go 360. Let's go 360, 50. And then that's enough, right? I mean, we're not, like I said, we're not going to be too stubborn with this trade. If it doesn't want to work, it doesn't want to work. We'll get out of Tesla right now. But let's go to a dare, did I hear? Okay, Andre, thanks.
So there's nothing new on Palantir to explain this move. There is something older. I was seeing this posted. This is actually 4 hours ago, but it was just reposted, as you mentioned it, Sean. So good timing here. The New York Times reported, it looks like either last night or early this morning, that apparently Donald Trump is leading really, or his administration is leading really heavily on Palantir. They're looking for Palantir to build a cross-agency data backbone using its Foundry platform to help organize personal data across DHS, IRS, Health and Human Services, and more. So basically, this is a report that apparently Palantir is really being relied on for a lot of data agency, I guess, alignment and the like for the Trump administration. It's just a report, though. And again, that's not new. I wasn't even seeing anything about this when I looked into it earlier. So not sure if this explains the push up. Worth noting regardless. Back to you.
Obi and I just talking about you could either revert stocks that rip up like that, or you could join the momentum on there. And what we both said is that it doesn't really matter which style you choose. It's about the levels and how patient you are about it. And you never want to have FOMO and try to punch tops or bottoms of anything, but you can definitely join that. And I think if you notice that Palantir was ripping right there around 125.50, right when we break that sort of it's not even the pre-market, that's sort of when the open market levels right there of 125, 125.50, that's where you can join the party, right, and get going with this name. So there goes Palantir, man, a huge move. You can rewind, honestly, I feel stupid about it because at 10 o'clock, just before the number, I said Palantir's at a good level here. I'm waiting for lower because I was thinking about shorting, thinking about the market being a short, but right into there, Palantir definitely, Print City from the 200 period. That's the 200 period moving average. If there's ever a stock, and here we go, man, we'll put on our education hat. I think we do that every day anyways. Here's the 200 period right now. I'm sitting here right now at 85. So I'm actually at 86, is just ahead of that. Because if you ever see a name that hits the 200 period moving average, and it's testing the way that you like we had already written down one long today, Palantir, right? And so it does fade, it rips off the open, then comes right back into that 200 period. That's probably worth a look, but this is part of I was going to say prisoner's dilemma, but it's like the trader's dilemma, because as that was happening, we were short NVIDIA and we were short, which is not great, Tesla, not great now, but was great there. And we were thinking lower and we had an economic number come through. So I don't feel bad about, there we go. We just stopped out again on Tesla. We're going to be done Tesla. We just tried it. We tried it at 360 twice. And it didn't work. So that was our number one trade idea, was to go short through there. So we will wind up losing on it, but we only lose maybe a third of what we made on NVIDIA. And right now the TQs is kind of position pending, as we've lost on the TQs, but that was not huge. We're going to try to wait to see what happens right now in and around these levels. I'm hoping we don't get stopped out, but a lot of these names are really starting to go. NVIDIA is kind of having a problem. I thought that this it's a great trade off the bottom, but we haven't broke through VWAP. We broke through VWAP on the Nasdaq and we broke through it on Tesla, obviously. And now we're starting to go upside now on NVIDIA. So that would be a good little level. Obi's in the long, so it doesn't matter. But for me, we're light on this. We have 5% left of NVIDIA, and we're going to wait to see what happens. Now, there goes Tesla, by the way, way through 360 now. 361 and change. And at least we wrote down on here, get out if it breaks. And we should have just reversed long. So there's, to your point again, where we could be short, this, get out, and then reverse it back into the long. So there it is, man. Yeah, Tesla, good point there in the chat. Who was it? It just makes me laugh there. Tesla getting charged up. Who was that? What's up, Kevin Vasquez there in the chart says, in the chat. Tesla's getting charged up. Yeah, definitely getting lit. Right there is Tesla. But here goes the Nasdaq, man, right into some levels again for us. We're looking to get short right around here.
Yeah, so I did get a little involved there on that Palantir, on that initial pullback right there through that 128.
Oh man, we missed that top.
Stopped out on the rebid, and then try it once again right there. So we'll continue talking about this one. Let's see how this one pans out here after we get back from small cap.
Yes, do that.
IWM actually looking really similar to the Nasdaq. We have this push to the downside throughout the pre-market. Then we have this nice open, I guess, here after a little bit of consolidation. Now we're trying to push higher, but we're kind of running into this high of the day from earlier. And I'm going to pull up the Nasdaq to show you guys what I mean. This is a 3-minute chart. Nasdaq looking really similar here. We push lower off the open. We bounce off of pre-market lows and we come right back up. So Nasdaq and the IWM right now being twins, for lack of a better term. Here's TAT Technologies. TATT is the ticker for this one, or TAT, if you will. Actually still down on the day, but trying to push up a little bit higher here. This one pricing their $42.3 million public offering at $26 a share. So keep an eye on TATT. It's an Israeli company. Here's NPWR. No news on this one, but an 11.5 short float. So pretty good short float here to be aware of for NPWR. The company's name there as well is Net Power. Last but not least, this one by far the strongest of the small caps today that I've seen, Basel Medical Group, BMGL. All they did here was really to just reaffirm strong financial position amid market volatility. What this means is they put out a press release. Regardless, the market likes said press release. They also like this 5 million share float perhaps for BMGL. Back to you. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Okay, thanks, Adara, for that good little hit there. Obi just stepped away, but he's got the Palantir short, so we're watching out for that. We didn't get the 70-20 fill, so unfortunately I paid down a little bit for this name. We got some 11s or whatever, and then we got some O's again, or some 04s. So, you know, I'm waiting for more shares up here. I just, you know, let's let this calm down, and we'll still be in the spot right here for that. So any other kind of names you guys want me to look? Oh yeah, BBAI. I see people are screaming about that one. You guys know I like some BBAI. And there it goes, man, a nice move up now, up 8%. Goes Big Bear, so nice move there from yesterday. Where were we yesterday? Weren't we around this level anyways? Because we were going long around $4, yeah. So we got stopped out yesterday on that. That was a negative trade for us yesterday as we tried to protect sort of that $4 mark there. And then there was the break in and around midday. And we didn't go too much lower, but there goes Big Bear AI with Palantir upside again on that play. So not too bad at all. Look, guys, we've been showing you the homepage for Trade the Pool now for a while, but today we want to highlight a section of the site that you may have missed. Trust me, it's what you want to check out. It's Trade the Pool's video on demand library, and it's so much more than just content. It's a space built to help traders grow with real stories of funded traders, strategy, breakdowns, hard lessons, and mindset tips you can actually apply in your own trading. And there's more. There's the notes feature, which allows you to save the most valuable takeaways from videos so you can quickly revisit the exact moments that mattered to your trading. It's like your own personal playbook. All right, the best part, our bookmark. The best part is this is all completely free and included with your Trade the Pool subscription. If you haven't explored it yet, now's the time. Head over to tradethepool.com, click on the VOD library tab, and get excited about Trade the Pool. We want to thank them again for their continued sponsorship. I'll be having Steve Tileman on tonight with Trade the Pool there. So we want to thank them for coming through one more time again for us. Yeah, man. I was just talking about that. You hit that Palantir nicely there on the short, and we just talked about mean reverting or going with the trend. And Obi, it looks like you are reversing that play back in to the downside, and I'll do this for you. Nice little dollar in the money.
We're going clubbing today.
Obi.
That's, yeah, no.
Oh, you're going clubbing today. Okay.
No, I'm saying dollar club, right? It's just like, yeah. Palantir, it's pulling back a little bit, but again, I think it's still got a lot more to go. I'm looking at VWAP as a potential, but again, it is trending very strongly to the upside. So am I technically still counter trend? Yes. But VWAP sitting at 125.38. That's about $2 lower right here. 125.50s I have on this chart. That kind of confluences with the opening range highs as well. But again, I'm going to be patient and wait and watch and see if this actually comes in. But yeah, pulled down, but look at that. It's coming right back in. So very volatile as of right now. Still technically front side of the move. So I want to stay a little nimble on this one. Look at that. Bids right back up. Right, so absolutely wild there. NVIDIA working as well. Oh boy, okay, all right. So it actually got to VWAP, and there we go. Out of that NVIDIA position, so I was already posted in and around VWAP, because guess what? The trade was reversion to VWAP. And I took that's the trade that I took. 136s, 137s, and then we talked about that 137 halves area being a little bit of that VWAP area, and I just posted the rest of the position into there, and got lucky on that one. That one worked out. But oh boy, we talked about a little bit of a demand zone off of that. When was this? 8 a.m. candle flush on both futures. A little bit of a demand zone showing up there at the lows, and guess what? On the Quadun that we get off of the open, that demand showing up once again here, and absolutely aggressive, over a 50% retracement of that opening action, just right back up to the top there. So absolutely beautiful. Let's see what Palantir will have in store for us. Does it trade back above 128? I have no idea, but it's still consolidating, chopping around right now, still making higher highs and higher lows technically. So I do have to stay wary on this one.
Yeah, great look there for sure. I'm just gonna do the same thing here. I'm still thinking negatively on NVIDIA. We're still down, and we just came to VWAP. I'm not gonna put on the shares we had right there again. We're gonna try it against 137.50. So that's about as high as we got right there. That's the wick that we're trying to play off of right now. So it's at VWAP. It just gave us at least a little bit of a touch there. I know Obi did a great trade by getting out. So we're going to average into that. We do understand that the 200 periods all the way up here at 138.50 or 138.20. I'm not waiting for that. So hopefully we can come in here on the market. But the market's doing not exactly what we thought it would do, because I'm already short. But these are the levels that I'm talking about getting short. So if we can break, then we're going to get out. But we're about 30 handles away right now from breaking through the top of the day here on the Nasdaq. So there it is. We'll now layer into our last go here. There's NVIDIA's ripping upside, but we're pretty light on that. It's more just we just got filled on our futures position. So we're going to wait for 70.50. Hopefully that does not break, but we're into some shares now and waiting to see what happens right now with the Nasdaq. So good trading so far today, but it is starting to get, a little top heavy now in the Nasdaq, I'm feeling. But, maybe this market just continues to go. The PMI numbers, PCE numbers were good there today. So maybe there's some sort of a talk about that, market wide. But let's just wait. I was negative. It looks like the taco trade. I mean, again, hit it downside, find your bottom, and then, don't be afraid of the tariffs. And there it goes right there. So, yeah, all right. So the TQs is back in our position. We're relatively flat on that one. We're back into the money on NVIDIA, but this is where we last shorted. So, yeah, we haven't talked too much about crypto. Bitcoin's at 105.1 right now. So let's go find out about that. Yeah, if abort the short, the long can't be wrong. Good job there, Greg. Yeah, I think you're right. And I think there's no better of an example than Tesla. Because if the short is not working, abort, right? I mean, and that's what we did. I feel real good about this. Although we gave back what we made, we're still completely fine on that position. So for me on Tesla, good job there for anybody that believed in the 360 level, because that came and now it's gone and you're $2 in the money. So big ups there. I can't believe I just said big ups.
Big up.
All right, big up to that trade. Yeah, the TQs, man, we're going to have to get something out if it comes back in again. We are short decent amounts right now, Obi, at these levels. We talked about, we thought it was getting top heavy. So let's run this short right now back on the TQQs, trying to make back what we lost on this name. But we'll wait. We'll wait for it. Good out there at 70. Now let's wait to see if we get a little bit more. All right, here we go. It's 10:30. It's time for our crypto update.
Bitcoin actually going for a 4-day losing streak, at least if you're looking at TradingView data. I always like to clarify because, Bitcoin prices and when the day starts really does depend on whatever platform you're using. If you're looking at TradingView, it looks like we're actually trying to clinch a 4-day red streak for BTC, the largest cryptocurrency. And that comes after a really nice, strong uptrend starting at the start of April, ending at least we made a lower high last week. So let's see if what we kind of do here. We're in a little bit of no man's land, for lack of a better term. Lower highs recently, but still in that larger uptrend. I think if we break back below this 100,000 level, which understandably served us some previous support, that could be a bit of a dicey area for Bitcoin. But right now, 105, as Sean mentioned, is where we're holding. We can get into that 105 or 106 level and stay there. Potentially could be a good look for BTC. But again, 100,000 does seem to be the strongest and clearest support resistance level in terms of where we're trading right now. Let's take a look here at BTC and how that's doing on this Binance. If it lets me do perfect. So by Bitcoin here again around that 105,000 level. Ethereum back below 2,600, trading around 25.9 here and down about 1.5%. XRP down 4%. Solana down 4%. Dogecoin down 7%. Cardano down 5%. So weakness across the board for these crypto names. Little Doge thing to be aware of. Unclear if this is going to be market related at all, but we know Elon Musk is set to have his press conference with Donald Trump today. Elon Musk is, of course, the leader of the Department of Government Efficiency. Sometimes this ticker has run on Doge-related catalysts or headlines. Completely unclear if that's going to be the case today, but could be worth watching Doge. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, no, I think Doge is worth watching there. I like in terms of crypto altcoins. I like the XRP. I think we've mentioned this before. Definitely part of that.
Got filled more on that last night.
In the ledger, and the other one is obviously Dogecoin. Well, I haven't looked at Dogecoin in many moons. So let me take a quick look at that.
I'm a Cardano guy,
as
so
of right now.
Well,
okay, all right, okay. I mean, I'm not going to say what my average is, but it's definitely much higher than I have it. I think here, you know what? When did I buy it? I think I bought it with a friend. It was funny. I was like, it was earlier on in when I first started trading. I was just like, okay, oh boy, this Palantir is going to get clocked out there. That's fine. But yeah, no, I was like, oh boy, this is probably going to squeeze. Okay. No, it might be. I have no idea. But then I think so I think it wasn't 2024. No, this is not even showing before 2022. Oh boy. It might have been 22. Honestly, I think it might have been 22.
You can't see the charts. Well, it doesn't matter.
I know. I'm just looking at 2022 is when I bought that Dogecoin. So that's been sitting pretty since.
Remember when Elon went on Saturday Night Live and Dogecoin? Yeah. I think that was his highest spot. I think it was at 58 cents or something like that during his appearance on SNL. All right. Yeah, good. All right. I just want to say to Adara, because there is some requests here on the hotline bling over here, that they want to know about UNH. So UNH right now, I think it's just probably normal action here for UNH. I mean, it's up 2%, but it is starting to go up. Again, a beat up name. We've talked about that many times here. Obviously on the show, we all know the stories and the downgrades and the change to, the healthcare system.
There's no news on UNH, guys. Sorry to cut in there. There's no news on UNH.
Yeah, so I sort of figured that was the case because, this is just kind of whatever. It's up 2%, but it is a nice move. You are basing out in and around 3 bills there, so thanks, Adara, for bringing it just to everybody's attention. But yeah, great trading on United Health. I mean, you've already broken that level right there, so I think if you're long, why not just stay long? We talk about playing with momentum and all of that kind of stuff, Obi, so that could be another play right there where you just kind of wait for this name to develop, trade out, and if it pulls back into there, you have your spot. 303.75 or so. That's kind of top end. Zoom your charts back out if you're comfortable holding that kind of a trade. Then that's great. You even have tops in here in 303. So yeah, I would say keep on riding this momentum to the high side right there on UNH. The stories are already out there, barring anything new. This could continue to work higher, right? So is he quick in and out, as some people are saying there? I think that's good, man. I mean, if you've taken the profit now, great. But I think you can hold. I mean, back into these levels, there's the 50-period moving average. Plus, we just looked at 303. 303 is not too far away from here right now. But okay, so that's what we've been doing right there. Let's just check out on some earnings plays. Let's see what Dell's doing. We talked, I was going to say, remember when it was beat up and we talked about maybe it did have an opportunity to get back to the upside there. It did, but now it's been faded out. So my sort of thesis here would have been wrong on this. It would have been right early, and I would have been like, yeah, let's go. But, we saw HPQ and CRM. Actually, it was more CRM. I'll have to double check what HPQ did. We already know where you looked at that. But CRM kind of grinded higher yesterday. Oh boy, Obi. We're starting to do something now. Let's see if these futures can come down a little bit more for us. We just took a 98 fill there. I'm going to bid 92, see if we can get some of that love right now as the market's starting to finally operate in a positive space for me coming back downside right now. We're in the money on this TQQ position, which of course is the Nasdaq. I'm going to bid out some more at 98 just to make, there it is. We got it just to make sure that we do cover something here. Bring it back, man. We are bidding 92s. And then after that, let's let it flow because, you know, it was a pretty aggressive, there it is, we got it. So there was a pretty aggressive move to the upside. I have no more bids right there. I'm glad we got a little bit more aggressive than we needed to right there because our stop was still 70.50. So it's still not really the greatest risk to reward right now, but we're playing with it. It is the TQQs. So yeah, there it is. A couple good covers down there. We still have 2/3 of this trade.
Yeah. So traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder, and upgrade to elite. Analyze, strategize, and capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts. Predict with backtesting, reliable, real-time data, global markets at your fingertips. All in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. So this Palantir here, as of right now, kind of just chopping and churning. I'm glad about where I got out of that NVIDIA. A little bit of a push into VWAP, and maybe we're seeing more of the same. Yesterday, pretty much all day, holding that VWAP like clockwork. As of right now, still kind of on that same kind of wavelength. Holding that VWAP off of open, holding that VWAP as of right now. Let's see if we can get more of the same going into the end of the day here. Wow, look at that. Palantir pushing pretty aggressively. There it goes right there. Stopped out on that one as it rips to the upside. 128.60s, fresh highs coming in on Palantir. So super, super strong there. Definitely front side of the move. We're getting continuation here. Let's see how long this bid will last. Tesla, oh boy, Tesla's one of the ones that's also blasting as of right now as well. So let's pull that one up and take a look at that chart right here. Okay, where is the chart? There it is. All right, cool. Nice. So you can see Marvell kind of coming back up into that trend, I guess, trend resistance, trend support, a little bit of an action there here on that. But Tesla, let's take a quick look at Tesla and see what that one is up to. Oh boy, a bit of a reversion of yesterday's selling. We talked about looking for a potential continuation. Guess what? That's not happening at all. Look at this beautiful kind of a VWAP hold in the morning and kind of a break of that morning session high, and then holding a little bit higher as well. Oh boy, coming into some of these prior days levels as of right now here on Tesla. Aggressive strength. Look at that. Look at that expanding volume that comes in to break that opening range high. I like that. That's some good confluence there. If you have the idea for continuation, I guess for the long there, not the continuation from yesterday. But yeah, no, Tesla definitely one to watch out for. So shout out to anybody who is in the Tesla long, because guess what? None of the other Mag 7s are really running like this. The only one I'm not looking at is Meta. So let's take a quick look. Okay, so Meta is kind of running like that. But when you look at everything else, you got Softy and SFT right here. So look at that sideways chop, nothing crazy as well. NVIDIA, we're already watching that. Kind of a downtrend there, holding that VWAP as of right now as well. And then looking at Amazon, look at that Amazon, pretty much sideways chop. Google as well, sideways chop here on the Google. Let's take a quick look at NFLX as well. We know that one's been pushing fresh highs pretty much every week, almost every week. And we're getting a little bit of a sell-off here off of the open here on Netflix as well. So, wow, that Palantir, man, that stopped me out a few times. I'm like, all right, well, 3 strikes.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Don't really want to fight this one too much here as it continues to show that strength. On what?
No, we had the same way about Tesla. We took a couple swings at that and missed, and eventually we stop out of it. And again, I think the one thing that, I mean, we can see each other's nets and all that kind of stuff and how we're trading. But the thing about everything that we're doing here are, and I just talked about this a couple days ago, tighter stops, a little bit more shares to control the downside risk. I mean, you know, we're looking for bigger moves. You know, great trade, Marvell, NVIDIA, Palantir. Like, if you're going to take 50, 60, 70 cent hits, you got to be ready to take, you know, a little bit bigger winners, right? Like 2 to 3 to 1 or so. All right, right here, nice little pullback right now for the Nasdaq on that. So it just went up, got short. I had to go get my own coffee, Randy, right there. So we do that. I'm just playing around. I actually like to step out. And I have to admit something. There's these little donuts that are about the size of like this.
Those look delicious.
Yeah, and there was, yeah. So I like the maple donuts.
Okay.
And one of them was there, and it was cut in half. I kind of felt like that was an omen. Like, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, eat too crazily these days or anything like that. I went on the scale down 2 pounds.
Yo, let's go.
Yeah, so I hadn't been, so that's okay. I mean, we have a lot more to cut than that. But that was good. Yeah, no, we're
pretty disciplined with the swimming and the working out every day.
Yeah, it's more, so I find that the big thing that I have to change right now, obviously, and, you know, Brendan's talked about this a lot. They talk about it on the main show. Like, diet is so important, right? Oh, yeah. I mean, if anything, you obviously want to work out. You got to get that heart health and, you know, build some muscle. I mean, we can... This is the bro show. This is what they talk about. But ultimately, it's those late nights. Like last night, we didn't even get home. So we ate. So I ate when I got home from here, which was around 6:30 or so. I was home earlier, but that's when we ate. And then, you know, my son has chess at 7. And then we have to be at the park at 7 for our game, which is 8 to 10. So part of the problem is when you have kids and you're on like these limited schedules, is the fact that you're not eating at the proper times. Yeah, that's fair. You're having too big of a meal near, you know, close to bedtime or something like that. So often you'll get home from something like that and you haven't eaten since 6 o'clock. And I'm not doing like that whole fasting thing. So sometimes, you know, you have those late night little, I don't know, nothing, just a bag of popcorn or whatever it is. Not like it's crazy amounts of food, but staying away from that, I think is going to be a big help. So I'm trying to figure that out. But 128.98, we just joked about Palantir. Palantir is going to touch probably 130 again today. So let's get going on that. Because I'm a little bit off track here, I'm not sure the segment, but it's a small cap recap maybe? All right, good enough. Sector Watch with Adara at the screen.
Let's start with the sectors that are strong. Costco up 2% here, leading otherwise pretty flat retail trade sector. Walmart to the upside as well. Costco, of course, earnings day one. BRKB actually red here, though, in financial services. Otherwise pretty flat. The theme of the day is going to be some pretty flat sectors. But again, health services actually really strong. We talked about UNH being up. I couldn't find a catalyst on this. Nice bounce. It's been struggling with 303 as of late. As of right now, actually back above 303, so good look for UNH. Communications, all three of the names in this sector nicely to the upside. Philip Morris was a laggard yesterday, today trying to lead the consumer durable sector. Eli Lilly to the upside in health technology. Let's talk about these tech sectors as we always do, because they're actually not telling you very much directionally. NVIDIA day two, red here for electronic tech. Some of these other semiconductors a little bit red as well, but Apple, Broadcom, some of the larger names in this sector relatively flat. Then you've got another very mixed to flat sector here in tech services. Google red, Palantir bright green, CRM red and earnings day two. Other than that, pretty flat. Unfortunately, not a super exciting sector board, guys. Back to you.
I just told Obi, like, this market doesn't want to go down. So
aggressive.
I'm starting to, and as soon as I say that, this just ticks down a little bit. But I don't know. It keeps on resisting this level here at $70. I mean, the futures are right here where they are right now on the Nasdaq. So it's 1044. So we're getting ready to throw it over. Sharif not here today. We wish him the best, and he's fine. Just dealing with some issues there, as Brendan mentioned, sort of off the open. So we hope for Sharif. So it'll be, I think you're going to be joining. I'm going to be joining in at Dara. I think we're all sort of going to be there with Joby, there on the midday show as well. So, you know, we're hoping for the best on that side of things. But yeah, so that's what's going to happen very soon in 15 minutes. And then I'm going to run some errands and I'm going to come back and join the show as well. So far so good here today with this trading, man. We've given some back, but oh boy, here we're going again right now back into the downside. So maybe my opinion's wrong, which I'll be happy with that. And the market does want to go lower. So right now we're pushing lows. We're pushing lower right now. We're nowhere near lows. But yeah, we talked about trying to get short into this area. So we did it. You know, and when you do something like that, you got to reward yourself a little bit. So let's take out something as we come in on the Nasdaq, right to this level. Go Nasdaq. If we can get something like around 21,350, that's the 50-period moving average. 21,340 is VWAP right there as we try to push just a little bit lower right now. Good trade there. We just got some more out for me on the TQs. We are now positive on the TQQs, and that's going to be a good trade, hopefully even better than what I see right now. I hear lunches now coming in right now or something in the background, so that should be fun. We are almost on what's for lunch. There's the Nasdaq, there's Tesla downside push as well right now. But wow, what a move for Tesla, all the way from $10, right? The $10 bottom, 353, 354, all the way to 363, and now pulling back. All right, I got to address a little bit of this now because we are right at the 50-period moving average. So again, just a couple, lots that we took up there. Probably had about 2 to 3 units of risk there near the high of the day. So, we're pretty proud of that trade. It's a nice move downside here. We're at our one-day goal, but we were kind of there before with our NVIDIA and our Tesla short, but then, gave some back on the Tesla. And the fact is we turned red on Tesla, but again, we're red a third of what we've been up on NVIDIA. And oh boy, fire off the hot dog cannon for that last reload, Obi. Look, like this to me,
Nice.
This to me is what we're talking about. You go short off your initial play.
Boom.
Sticky note.
Right.
Get out of here. Okay. And then it comes back up. Obi empties out his at VWAP, and I'm looking short. Yeah. So there's the short take on NVIDIA, now 50 cents in the money on that reload, and we just took some of that profit. So I'm actually going to take a little bit more out here at 85 if we can. We just bid 85. We missed it. There it is. We get it back in right there. So take some more out here because we're short the Nasdaq and we're short NVIDIA. So, we don't want to have all of our eggs in one basket, but I prefer the short today, so that's what we're doing. We are shorting that. Not too much look at quantum here today for us anyways, but it's been a nice move. The thing is, I was looking at it and we missed that move early, and now it's kind of just doing this. So let's zoom out just quickly, and I'll throw it back to Obi to see what's going on over there. But 1650, this looks like a short to me on QBTS. Still red on the day, but again, remember, I'm very biased to the short. Everything I've been doing today is short, other than calling the Palantir long and not taking it. 1640 right there. This to me would be an area that obviously yesterday at the close we talked about some of those prices coming into play again. So we deal with closing prices in and around these levels right now. So I think a break right there of this level, 1660 or so. Even if you want to go to $17, you got to give this name a little bit of room, but it's not moving dollars today. It's just kind of hovering right now. Another name, obviously, Rigetti, which is a very popular one. They had a shelf offering, I think, last night, live on air with Adair and I. Oh, remember Palantir 130? It's at 130 right now. So there goes Palantir. So Rigetti gets hit on that shelf right here, by the way. So nice move down for Rigetti. Just trying to find its way. I think this would be the name that could pop. Down 6% there. We'll figure that out. But Rigetti, PLTW? PLTR. Is that what Planet Fitness was another name? Look at that, Obi. Would you take a look at that? Right there off the 200 period moving average, right back up there to 130. What's the biggest of the bears doing as well as AI is hot fire? My one friend, of course, we talked about that story yesterday, messaging me now today. Yo, what's going on with Marvell? I'm just like, response? What's going on with Big Bear AI? We talked about this guy smacking into that yesterday blindly. So there it goes, man. Big Bear AI. This dude's up 7+% right now on that name, but I guess he would be down an equivalent amount on Marvell. No, Marvell back up through Obi through $60. Where did you cover your Marvell, by the way?
Oh yeah, I did trade that off.
Because I think you got a good price. You got around 59s, right?
I got 60.07s.
Right, but I remember you were $1 in the money.
Because it went down to 58.
Yeah. But then you covered, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I covered it. Okay, so I can show you the
trying to find out the price here.
Yeah. Okay, we can take a look at that. All right, so Marvell.
Just because that was a good look, I'm just trying to give you a little bit because
thank you.
Once we broke through VWAP, it was about 59.50. So interested if that's
right here. Let's go down to the 1 minute chart so we can see a little bit more granularity here. So right here, ideal execution, I think, is here on the retest of that VWAP when it comes in, because you're looking for that sell. The idea is already there. Trend break, higher time frame. So it's like, all right, that's the idea. That's what the chart is showing. Now, can we confirm sellers on the tape into the book off of the open? And yes, we get that right away. And then that retest. Yes, so it's like, okay, so that if you're quick, you're getting in right there, right off open. Maybe you're doing a market on open as well, right? Maybe you're really confident in that trade because we're already broken that trend going into the open, right? But the confirmation happens when that retest of that VWAP comes in, and we can't even get past that VWAP, let alone pre-market lows. And that selling steps right back in, giving that confirmation. So I got in a little chasey here, covered a decent chunk right here, 59.70s, and then covered most of it, if not everything, and then left a little bit of a breadcrumb on as a runner. to the stop that I had right there. I think it was 60 15s or something like that. I was like, if we trade back above 60, I don't want it anymore. And guess what? I think that was a great idea because look at that. Now we're consolidating and chopping and churning around 60s. But Sean, as to answer your question, where did I cover? I covered some 59.70s. I covered some 58.80s. And then 50 on the back through 59 was most of the rest, and then just left the rest on with the original stop, which again could have been a little bit better. I could have been like, all right, well, VWAP sellers were dominant. If we trade back above VWAP, that can be my stop there. I can be a little bit more efficient with that, but I didn't really, I guess, I didn't have enough to really care for the position, and I wasn't really looking at it. But beautiful trade off of the open, coming right back into some of these levels here. 60 trading above that, consolidating nicely now. Opening range high somewhere around, what is that, 60-80s it would seem on Marvell. So yeah, it was a good look. Execution could be a little bit better for sure. It could be a little bit faster, but the trade is the trade, and it was definitely there. And speaking of the trade is the trade, I don't know what the trade. Well, the trade on Palantir obviously is the long. If you were there earlier, but as of right now, I'm a little bit salivating at a potential reversion if and when it sets up. But again, you can see I've already tried multiple times. Talk about a 3-strike. I think I might have struck out a double 3-strike right there, but I'm keeping it much tighter and much lighter. So I think I'm okay with that for now. Gonna keep on taking stabs at it until it starts to work, and then really look to kind of leverage into it if it starts showing me what I want to see on Palantir. But let's see what Adair is up to.
What I have here is money talks. This is the US dollar. Honestly, this chart is pretty, as of right now, just kind of consolidative. We had this nice uptrend starting September 2024. This ends at the start of the year, just before the inauguration. Then we just make lower highs, lower lows. As of right now, chopping around the $100 level. Green on the day, though, but not even close to making up after that big red mark we had yesterday. That's right, yesterday we gapped up and then somehow managed to close lower. Now, let's talk about what's in store here economic data-wise. We had a pretty big day, so let's review some of these numbers. We had PCE coming through at 8:30 a.m. PCE, for the most part, in line with expectations. Core PCE year-over-year, 2.5%, in line with estimates. Core PCE month-over-month, 0.1%, in line with estimates. And then let's see if I can find the guess. So PCE year-over-year slightly lower than expected, 2.1% versus 2.2% expected, but the month-over-month print in line with expectations. Personal income higher than expected month-over-month here, 0.8% versus 0.3% expected. And then probably the number the market likes the most or watch the most closely of these coming through at 10 a.m., University of Michigan consumer sentiment higher than expected, and the 5-year inflation and 1-year inflation expectations lower than expected. So basically, it looks like people are easing back on how much they think we're going to get inflation going forward, and I guess sentiment a little bit higher. So good look here for these University of Michigan numbers. Right now, though, dollar pretty range bound. We'll send you back to the guys.
Just thank you, Adara. I mean, great review of everything once again there for us. Yeah, I was just saying to Obi, like, things are starting to now work to the downside, man. And I mean, it's like, you know, there's the NVIDIA reload. We had that first. Here's our Nasdaq trade going lower as well. As here goes the Nasdaq. We just covered at the 200 period. I mean, we only have half this position now, but it's working for us. So I think we just kind of let this go, man. So nice move to the downside here. You're never bothering me, Trade to Thrive. What's up, Trade to Thrive? If you get a chance, because you look at Unity. Yeah, let's look at Unity, didn't you? It was UiPath was yesterday, which was insane, right? So let's just go have a look at Unity. Wow, this is $26. Thank you, Trade Thrive there. What a move for Unity. Okay, yeah, they had earnings, I think, a couple days ago, didn't they? But there's a move up there for Unity. So again, coming up to $28. You know, I'm not going to set the world on fire with any technical analysis here or anything like that, but like 28 goes all the way back here to early 2024. Bounces, boom. So yeah, you are getting a nice move to the upside right there. Take advantage of a great earnings response and maybe get out of some of your longs. But as far as a day trade is concerned, yeah, I mean, gap from yesterday, right? So we gapped $23, we gapped to 24. We always say when there's a gap, play back to VWAP. Look what VWAP's done for you all day. It's done great things, except for right here when we did break, but we only broke down 30 cents off of there. Then we retook VWAP, and then it was upside surprise after that. So yeah, I would say stay long this name. I mean, looking pretty healthy. What I use for trends are the 50-period moving average. So right now on the 1-minute chart, it looks like your bottom maybe 26 or so. So yeah, so far so good. I think you got 40 cents in the money right now to deal with. If it does fall back in, that would be a trend change for me. We haven't broken the 50-period all day again, except for that one move at 10 o'clock. So great look there. I think you've done really well with Unity. But if you're looking short, I'd say you're almost there as well. You're almost here. Like these kind of levels, good. Unity does have a short float. I'll double check that. And then we got to go over to Obi, and then I'm going to figure out what's for lunch. All right, so here's Unity software. I'm going to say around 10%. Oops, I got to go to details. This is where we want it, Unity. And then I think Obi's saying, oh boy, so that means there must be something. There it is, 8% short float for Unity. So again, thank you so much for the question. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that, we're looking to answer. You got to hit the like and the subscribe to get into that chat. And, join us here every single day as we trade the markets live with you. So there it is. What's up, Conservative Movement? Thank you, Sean the King, Obi, Adara, Brendo, and Bears vs. Bulls. God bless you all. Yeah, same to you. And thank you again for watching. Let's keep the show on the road and rolling right now as we are getting ready for the midday. And I see Adara will be back in the hot seat with Joe. So she's loading it up right now. She's super excited. She's got the red on, but that doesn't mean that the market's going to go down. The market's pretty flat right now, so we're excited to have Adara on there. Maybe she'll be looking at some UNH. Who knows what she's looking at right now. She's looking at some Ulta Beauty. She's in Ulta Beauty. Okay, there's lots to go right now. Okay, get going. We'll load up for what's for lunch, and then we'll throw it over there.
Yeah, I'm just watching this Palantir, man. That 130, that initial push of that 130 did a little bit of a false break. Just drops down 40 pennies through that one there. So I'm giving it multiple stabs and keeping it light and tight until, like I said, until it kind of really shows me what I'm looking for. I'm willing to get a few paper cuts on it there as it slows down around some what I think are key places. But again, I'm like we talked about yesterday. I should be more than willing to be wrong a lot more than I am right, and I'm kind of just waiting for that selling to kind of come in. Do we break the trend? This is an aggressive trend all the way up. I know I'm shorting front side of the move, but
look at these
again,
moves,
if and when this does pull back, I do want to participate in it here a little bit. 130 test happening. 133 was that prior high there on Palantir. So aggressive strength. Market's taking a little bit of a pullback here as we speak. So one to watch out for. Again, that was a crazy morning, right? Strong flush off of Trump's comments about China in the pre-market. Strong flush off of the open, giving us a little bit of a continuation from yesterday's move as well. And then you get that strong push all the way back up to 21,400, and then that's acting as a little bit of a resistance for now. So let's see if that kind of confluences here with the Palantir move. And again, Palantir has a beta of, I think it was a 2 point something. Beta of 2.61. So that's, I just want to keep that in mind when you're kind of watching futures or the market as well. ES coming down to 5,900. Let's see if we can make it there. Nice shake and bake on that one as well. So other than that, I don't really have too much else going on. Hopefully you guys had a solid morning, a lot of opportunities. Look at that Marvell, just clipped that 61 and then pulling right back in on Marvell as well. So absolutely crazy market here right now, Sean.
Yeah, we're almost back to our day's high that we've been at right now. Good short there where it's 80 cents in the money now on NVIDIA, and the market is starting to go a little bit downside, but we're starting to get out as more news is coming. But we got to figure out what's for lunch. Okay, Joseph, listen up to this one. It is Friday, May the 30th. Been chicken, I think, a few days in a row. Are we going 3 days in a row?
Oh boy.
Are we going 3 days in a row? We are not going 3 days in a row. We have blackened salmon today on the menu.
Oh, yeah.
Should be all right. With roasted baby potatoes, that should be good. As well, oven-charred Brussels sprouts.
Nice.
Chef's Choice salad. It is blackened salmon today at Trader TV Live. That is what's for lunch. All right, we did cash out of much more than half of our TQQ trade as it came into the 200 period moving average. It's been quite the show here today. Thank you, Obi, for joining me all week. You'll be back with me at 2 p.m. as well, and we'll all be helping out if necessary on the midday show as well. So, yeah, get ready to rock and roll. It's going to be Joe. It's going to be Adara. All right, Obi, thank you so much to Bears vs. Bulls and to everybody, Andre, Fabian, Ramin, Brendan, Adara, Joe, and everybody for everything happening today. And thank you, Obi, again, for all your great ideas and your talk about all of this. So we'll wait. Adara's just going to get mic'd up, and then we'll throw it over. So any last words here for anybody? Or?
No, nothing crazy.
All right.
I'll see you guys very soon, but don't go anywhere. We got the midday show.
Not yet. Not ready yet.
A little bit here. But
any weekend plans?
Any weekend plans? Nothing as of yet. My sister's in town from Chicago, so gonna be hanging out with family there. 131 is coming in here on Palantir.
We like that one. They are ready.
All right.
All right, thank you so much for putting up with us. You have to see us again at 2 p.m. We're super excited to come back with you then. But for right now, we got to go over to the midday show with Adara and Joe. It should be a lot of fun. Let's throw it to them and see what's going on this afternoon. It's May 30th. We're ready to rock and roll. It's Trader TV Live. It's the midday show, and it's happening now. Boom.